rogue on us, man.
Did they? Okay, hang on.
They disappeared within the first 5 minutes and we never saw them again. So I was essentially running like a fucking squad and a half fucking platoon.
Alright,
Okay,
we're gonna
I'm
drag
here.
people in here. Give me a minute.
Yeah, I assume this is going to be the debrief.
In here, not Goku, the mumble.
Hey, wake up.
That's alright.
Can I shut down my squad in the Goku mumble?
Alright, we're doing a quick little debrief here in Emerald High Com. If you need a pull, just poke me. On TeamSpeak, not on here.
Just to point out for next week, are we going to have a closed
Disconnected
debrief?
from server.
It's tomorrow night.
Okay.
User
Can be
was
dragged
moved to
into
your
it fairly
channel.
easily. So, God damn it! I was in the middle of a sentence.
User was
I'm
moved to
sorry.
your channel.
Can I go finish the sentence?
Quickly.
User left your channel. User joined your channel.
That was a rough match, boys.
That was a tough one. It's
It
alright.
was tough.
Yeah, if we were to lose one, that was the one to lose.
It's true.
Fine,
User
but if you're
was
going to
moved
do it
to
on
your
PAL.
channel. User
For
joined your
fuck's
Jesus,
sake.
you're still talking?
User was moved out of your channel.
Oh my god.
User joined your channel.
Maybe it's what we needed.
I think that was totally what Emerald needed. I'm very pleased it kind of happened. The final stretch. I know
User
it
was
twisted
moved
and
to your
perverted
channel.
that sounds, but you know exactly what I mean. It
I
just
hate
tempers the
User
egos.
User was moved out of your
Oh
channel.
my god.
Disconnected from your channel. Error. Channel switched. User joined your channel.
Yep, that just happened.
Yep,
User joined your
What
channel.
a bunch of fuckwads.
right.
That just happened.
Okay, well played though. Well played.
Well
Okay,
played.
I'm
I'm not
also
gonna.
here.
I'm not gonna hate on it.
What a bunch of fuckwads.
Yo, can you drag me, Lemgar?
Lemgar's not here. I'm poking him right now.
I'm literally right below you on TeamSpeak.
Lemgar can't
User
hear you.
was moved out of your channel. User joined your channel.
Can you
User
move us up?
left your channel. You were moved.
Don't hate, appreciate.
User joined your channel. User was
Who
moved
was,
to your channel.
Who issued that command on TeamSpeak?
User left your channel.
Had to be Maelstrom. You can't pull reps unless you're an admin.
I don't know. I
User
changed their
was
talk
moved
power
to
to
your
0 though.
channel.
Second.
Oh, I changed it to 10. Because
Oh, I
that's
thought,
where you
I
needed
thought it was
it.
0. Oh, okay.
No.
What happened?
Nothing.
So, where are the other smart people at?
I don't fucking know.
Well, Pizza's down there.
Negator, it was your guys down at Kestrel's watch,
User
right?
was moved to your channel.
Yep, we got dunked on
You,
repeatedly.
you guys
everywhere.
got dunked hard, and I
User
didn't see
left
you
your
guys
channel.
pull maxes at all. It was just me and Crimson that just pulled max at the last, 10 minutes.
Yeah, we had to pull a few. I think I'm not sure what it is, man. Because I said it the entire match. I pulled a few, and I'm not happy with the entire platoons.
Okay, who are we missing?
We're missing a lot. Also, Synthesis, your call for frags on that point killed, my entire squad.
Yeah,
Well,
mine
I
too.
didn't hear it, but I mean, honestly, though, we didn't deploy a bus next to the point when we could have. That would have helped.
Also, laggy ass air hammers. I was just getting air hammered through walls. I don't know how.
Yeah, and Maddox and generally everything.
I didn't have an
User
issue
was
with
moved to your
Maddox, and I
channel.
didn't have an issue with jackhammers hitting me through walls, but air hammers were just a completely different story.
Is pro name around here?
It was pretty atrocious in the air. People were saying that they were melting from full health,
User was
never
moved
getting
to your
any
channel.
hit warnings, never getting
User
any hit
left your
tone. It
channel.
was just laggy lock-on airhammer reavers as far as the eye could see.
The few times I pulled, that's what I got. It was just like you'd be flying and then all of a sudden you'd be dead, and it's like you had to like three
That's what
different
happened to me.
sources.
I was
Same.
flying and all of a sudden just Daltoned out of nowhere.
I wasn't even a Dalton. It was just fucking like
Trees
nose
said
and fucking lots.
It was a worse experience than flying against Connery.
Connery?
Oh, bad.
Sorry, Crown. It was a worse experience than
Oh.
fighting against Crown for the lag.
Where did
The
Mike
Korean
go?
server?
I went to bed.
He's down in
Oh, Mike's
channel.
gone. He's not going to deal with this anymore. It's like 4 a.m. for him.
probably is. Actually, I think it's later.
I know
7
his
a.m.
name,
was
man.
moved to your channel.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were talking.
User left your channel.
Doggone it.
I did the same thing to him a minute ago.
I was
You're
asking
muted.
asking
Unmuted.
Runsta while it's just us here right now. I was asking Runsta, what are the chances that Ice Bomb went and leaked over to Miller?
0?
0.
I don't think he'd do that. I mean, what would he leak though?
The entire Force comp?
But,
So?
but that
Because
doesn't matter.
they knew exactly where to put MCY. They knew exactly where.
Well, there's only so
They've
many
done that
things
in
you
the
can do
past,
in this
though.
game. I'm never overly concerned, right? It's all about the plays at the time of playing the game.
Yeah, MCY didn't beat us because of MCY. MCY beat us because we were abject failures at some basic things at every single base in that lane.
You guys
Well,
were losing even. Forgive
I-
me for ripping on you, Negator, but you guys were losing even pop.
I know.
I'm holding judgment until I see everybody's angles, and like everyone has bad days too. But if we were going to lose a game, this was the time to lose it, so there's no issues there. But I know everyone was suffering with the air game, and how there were several times we would have capped a base, and then all of a sudden they come in and we're just instantly all dead. We don't know why the lag kind of wins that advantage for them, and then we're like, well, what do we do now? So
Sure,
rinse,
said
repeat for
it's-
2 hours.
Tree said it was like they'd all downloaded net limiters instead of stacking.
Yeah, it was crazy, but it was like that for the infantry play
User
too,
joined
which
your
you kind
channel.
of expect with scat maxes, that it's going to be instant TTK and you can stomach
Yeah.
that a bit. But when you've got air insta killing you on the ground and they're shooting through the leaves, there's nothing you can do. It's very frustrating for the guys. So that probably hit morale a lot, certainly on that lane that Negator was on. And maybe we just had better
every other
terrain on
guy
our
was a
side.
scat max. But there were, we'll talk, unless you want to talk about it now, there were some things that my guys and the 2 outfits I had did that were just appalling.
Well, you can headline it and then we'll put it in the debrief doc for formality's sake.
My damn quad kept running into the same Airhammer Reaver and Nason's Defiance. He kept shooting us through walls and ceilings. 024. NC024.
Well, you know how at least they had 10 marked in every single squad? And how 2 slots
Those
were
all
mystery
for
slots?
maxes.
No. Those 2 extra slots are air.
We
The
tried that
Russians
though.
that I was fighting against.
We've tried
Chain
that,
pull.
and it doesn't work very well though, Pizza. The difference
Here's
with
the thing,
Hossen is Hossen is a unique game amongst itself compared to any other continent because of that tree cover.
And here's the thing that they can do with it. They will cycle it out, and we have no response to that on Hassan. We've gotten way too complacent in terms of depending on a decent air force, and in all reality, we do not have an air force that can beat that kind of airball with lock-ons. Our air force doesn't pull lock-ons. Our air force gets destroyed. It's something at least we need to have platoons that can pull AA.
Oh,
And
there were other
I mean,
things.
ours did. I mean, we had at least 2 Walker buses up, and at one point I had an entire squad in Sky Guards, just to give ourselves any amount of air cover when we were trying to take back Kirik and Secure. Because, like you said, like we didn't have anybody, and I said, well, we can pull a 200 bus, or I could send half my squad up in the air. But when that air ball rolls around, like that got proposed, like, well, we can just all pull air because all my guys could fly.
User was
But
moved
when
to
that
your
air ball
channel.
rolled through, it didn't matter what the fuck we were doing. We were dying.
Well, Mike's
Period.
here. I guess a bigger question is we had a whole bunch of no-shows at the beginning, and that unsettled the tempo of things. So how many
Yeah.
how
What
many
was that?
no-shows did we have at the start?
We had 3 no-shows from AC in our platoon, and that was it.
We
And
were
there
short
was-
20. We were
no,
short
there's
20
4
logged
from
in
VA.
accounts at 10 minutes. 20 logged in accounts.
My
at
whole
10
At
platoon
match
was
start.
up.
My whole
At-
platoon
at
was
match.
up right
And that's
at
the thing,
match.
like I went
we
through,
were missing one
I
person.
went through
in our
Team
squad.
one
TeamSpeak
account.
and I checked numbers, and we were pretty much good. Everybody was there. It's just they weren't logged in. So I
But
don't know
at-
how the fuck you fail to log in, but
Well, I think there are a lot of people just listening, and I don't. In the future, we shouldn't bank on that. At 45 minutes, I grabbed somebody from reserves and gave him 6 accounts and said, "Make me a squad." I mean, it was just. I think we also need to designate one per. Like, there needs to be a reserve guy that doesn't play.
I mean, Kai did a great job last time.
I had
Goodness. Getting us reserves.
one no show from my squad, no show from Zaps, and 5 went rogue.
5
Um,
went rogue.
What
Yes.
did the Hive guys turn up?
Yeah,
Do you think they were the rogue guys?
yes they were. I never want to see those cunts again. I hope they get banned
Called
from
it.
PSB.
Called it.
Who?
What happened?
I called it since last match. Hive wanted ground slots simply because they wanted to screw around.
They also left the air platoon, as far as I'm concerned. I heard as well that they left after like 10 minutes.
Can we
Emo?
move more cam down?
I have
User
no.
was moved to your channel.
It's very hard for me to see who is actually where. I had Hader's squad and Brahma's squad in the air platoon, and for the most part, at least for the first hour until resource attrition started to bite, I was seeing 2 distinct groups of black, because they were Delta Squad black scythes moving around the map. Now, Hive, their scythe did tend to try off and go and camp the warp gate, and Brahma tends
that
to
Eastern
try and
Hive?
find small farms where he can be useful. But again, unless I see the stats, I don't know what they were doing, essentially.
I had them squander 2 base offenses because they wouldn't undeploy Sunders, so we could deploy ones in the correct positions and cost us 2 base
Server group
offenses.
revoked.
They're just like not listening, paying attention.
They left
Doing their
TeamSpeak.
own thing. Oh, I see, huh?
Yeah.
they left
Crew couldn't even-
TeamSpeak.
Future crew couldn't even talk to them. They left TeamSpeak.
This was Hive?
Yes.
User joined your channel.
Well,
I went
that's
to
a death
reserves.
sentence.
I got 5 other people from reserves, and I told them to log on those accounts to try and log them out, just to fuck with them.
It's awesome.
Because I wasn't tolerating that. I did that like while we were defending Genesis at the same time. It's a bit of a fuck around, but like that straight off the bat put the future crew guys in just like the worst feeling position, man. Like I had the one bloke from Australia who I brought to ring for that squad ended up running the show for that squad.
So they just weren't put together.
Yeah, it was. So I was basically running that whole platoon on like one infantry squad and a half. Plus the FedEx guys, they're fucking amazing. I love them to death.
They are great.
They are so good.
Like I'm
Those
gonna be honest,
Sunders
man.
saved our asses so many times at Eastern.
The only reason I held Genesis Terraforming is because it's 3-point base. If that was a single point, I would have been warp gated, man. Just hands down, I'll admit that. Straight up.
Open question here. Did we suffer a lot from like too many shooters and not enough people who are willing to like hack it out on a point?
Yeah.
Can you pull Pronam down?
Yes,
I
definitely.
think the one thing
He's
that we
here.
had a major
Alright,
issue
shit.
with, the damn walker buses. I don't have guys at least that I can spare for that, because every guy that I dedicate to that takes away from the shooters, and we have a smaller platoon, and it's gonna fuck us over.
I
What
got
if-
a 5-man squad and I can't pull walker buses out the ass.
We
Yeah.
pulled
Because we're just
multiple
pulling
walker
people off a
buses,
point.
like a
Yeah,
lot.
I
We
had
had like
Pappy
6
and
buses
like
at one
a
point,
couple
didn't
other
work.
folks,
I had
and it
4
just doesn't
buses for
work well.
5 people. 4 buses for 5 people at one point.
The problem I had was there was that much there. There was no point pulling walkers or anti-air
was
because we
moved to
couldn't
your
make a
channel.
scratch in them. Like it was just not possible. I
Thing
couldn't even
that
make a
Miller's
call on it because I
did
couldn't even see them.
is they had Jesus Christ, I'm freaking dying now. They spam Sundays unbelievably, and they also combine that with the air. So
I
they'd
wanna-
have maybe about 6 guys actually on the point, 6 to 12, and then they'd just ring the base with as many Sundays as possible, and they've been practicing with this. What a lot of people don't notice, but I have to notice because it's my job when I'm sitting on here, is Miller Outfits, everybody, has been ridiculously and religiously practicing almost every other week. Like, every week, in fact, on the weekends, but also during the weekdays sometimes. And they've just been practicing this kind of thing. And last night, I went to a Briggs thing, at least, and the Aussies are practicing on Esamir for some reason, but they have been drilling basically server smash strategies. They've taken Ymir, they've done the Freyr lane, and they have stretch objectives, all that shit, and they run it like a machine, and they're practicing, and it definitely does help them out. Emerald doesn't do that. We're too complacent in terms of like our feelings about we can handle it and all that shit. And when we come up against this kind of team, they're not beating us because they can outshoot us, they're beating us because they know the bases better than we do, they know how to get vehicles better than we do, because we have no idea about half the fucking awesome bases. What the hell is
Yeah, I'll
that?
agree with that. I think a
And
lot
they've
of the
planned
No.
out a force composition that highlights their strengths. In that case, it is the crushing air. They have the best air force of any group, period.
But is that circumstances of having lag on NC
I don't
with
think
air,
it's
air
here's
cover?
the
Would
thing.
they do as well on Esamir?
I
Would they have
think it
done as
would
well on Esamir?
be
Probably.
similar,
No.
but the problem is their air would have less cover to hide in, but at the same time you'd have less cover on the ground, so I can see it going either way if it was on Esamir, honestly. Especially if it was that laggy.
It was the same thing, at least, with the Briggs match where we lost. And that is the case of you can have the best shooters in the world, and they cannot do absolute jack shit if you have air cover there and a shitload of Sundays. I cannot kill 7 Russian Sundays quick enough with an air ball up above my head. I can't do it.
What when we lost Niddlemire at like 40% pop, and we lost Sucksite Beta at something like that. I don't know, but that means we were out popping them somewhere else. Did that happen on
We
any front?
outpopped them at Wainwright. That was the one area that we outpopped them at.
Also,
One
X-Tab
time.
power.
One time,
X-Tab
yeah.
power, X-Tab power.
Then they came back. They hit Broken Veil very hard, and then they set up in, I guess they planned to lose Wainwright, because they set up inside construction site Epsilon. We got about 6 or 7 Sundays, and then they brought in the airball at least to wipe us out when we were attacking it.
Also, would they have won on Esamir, or would things have been
Yes,
different on
they would
Esamir?
have
I
absolutely
think
beat the shit out of us on Esamir.
no. Just like in response to Lemgard, we got airhammered like shit. D17 just went to Kessel's Watch, or whatever that base is down south where Negator was. Went to Ixtab. We went to Nace's Defiance. Went to Gurney Dam. We went to Wainwright. Fort Drexler. Everywhere were just air hammers. They had at least
User was
one
moved to
air
your
hammer
channel.
squad in each zone.
What they were doing is that they had 10 people, and the 2 in the extra part of the squad were air.
Yeah. The thing I want to mention though is my squad is great shooters. Andrus, Crimson, Winston, all of them, right? But they can't deal with air. They can never deal with air because they always run from air on live. And
Here's
they
some
never
of the
carry
theory
hawks.
crafting, if it helps. Is it possible to
I
do
just
the
wanna throw that out
mixed
there.
skill platoons? Have it so that our weaker shooters at least can fulfill that kind of role?
If you
Yeah.
do mix skill platoons, you need to make sure that the people you're mixing with are able to fulfill all the roles you need. So you need your people
And at least work together. There's a lot of outfits on Emerald that are too selfish and too self-centered to work with other outfits. It really pisses me off.
I think that's
We
probably
can-
true to a point, but it's also like traditionally the way that I've done it, and maybe we're still doing it. There are some outfits I don't know here, but you have like a solid heavy squad. You have a really good support squad that can lock down a point. In 3 Speak, I'd say more of like a lockdown squad, right? That sits on the point. The heavy squad roams around, and then the third point squad is auxiliary, and they're the ones pulling the vehicles, the air, whatever they can to just cause shenanigans. And I don't know if we're still having that philosophy. I think we are, but in some, it looks like it's just too infantry based.
I mean, that's kind of
Can
what
I
my
say
platoon
something?
does.
Can I say something? Every
Yeah.
every time I've been given 5 or 6 slots or 12 slots, I've always tried to fill like some of those slots or look for someone to fill a slot that has a special skill. It's like a lot of people got shit at me, but like last time I bought that other guy from Australia, everyone thinks he's a cunt, but the cunt can use an air hammer and a fucking max suit like a motherfucker. He's a better NC max suit user than Wawa is, like hands down. A lot of people didn't like it, but he was fucking good at the job, man. I have no qualms of working with people who have a specific skill. They don't have to be a shooter, they don't have to be a sniper, but if they can fly a plane, fly a galaxy, like, I love people that do that because they can fill a role and I can give them a job to do something.
The problem with Wawa is that
Yeah,
if
I
he
know.
starts...
It's an
no,
example.
it's in
I'm
general,
not saying
but the
him,
problem with
it's an
Wawa is
example.
he'll quit if he's losing.
Yeah, the thing that I did beforehand on Hassan that saved us from the Air Force, 1 second, is I had folks that I earmarked beforehand in my platoon that were folks I could put up into the air, and I had them save resources and pull air. And that's a lot of what kept the enemy Air Force off of us. I didn't care what they pulled, lock-ons, whatever. I kept some of my guys back at least if they needed to pull lock-ons to be effective, like ANGC, they'd have it. And we'd have that on the opener. Because the first 3 minutes don't fucking matter. If you let them set up, it does. But if you have air control at least, they usually can't set up. We didn't do that this match at all. We had confidence at least that we'd be fine in terms of the air situation, and complete clusterfuck. The only way you're gonna knock out an enemy airball is with your own airball, or just literally grind them down. You can't grind them down with just a mix of, well, just with solely walker buses, or like 1 or 2 guys in ESFs. You need to use them both.
It's hard to do that though on Hassan. If it was Indar or Esamir, totally. But on Hassan, most of the time there's terrain.
You can counter
or
airplay
trees.
on Hassan.
Well, I'll
It's a
speak
pain
about
in
my
the ass.
experience. I was on the far left lane, right? So I'm sure it was not as bad as in the middle because people aren't passing through to go somewhere else. But on the far left lane, I ended up having Iron, which was my auxiliary crew. I only had 24 people, but that was 6. And so there were several times where I got them to pull 4 Skyguards. They didn't live long, right? Because Vanguards would come and kill them, and my opinions of Iron are mixed, to say the least. But they got rid of the air long enough that the air would tell their friends, there are Skyguards there, don't go there. And it bought us 5-10 minutes sometimes. Not going to work in the center to the same degree, I get that, but sometimes you just need to out-psych your opponent in that way.
Like for the air in the middle, like Morcam will tell you, like his squad was in Sky Guards, and like I know Goku always tried to have a walker up at a time, and like I know I pulled 3 or 4 myself, so our squad had some. It was just trying to do anything to give us just a half second of cover, because once we got half a second of cover, we could beat those guys on the ground. It's just we just needed that little half second, and like rolling through the air at a minute wasn't going to cut it. Like we needed it at 2 minutes. We needed a little extra time.
And ground-based anti-air on Hassan is never really.
Yeah. And having
on
to
the bright side, we're not
slowed
playing on
us
Hassan
down.
anymore.
Correct.
That's what I'm trying to say. I don't want to cut you off, Igor. I just want to say, let's not reinvent the wheel too much just because of what specifically happened on Hassan. Obviously, things need to be tweaked in terms of squad comps and trying to make sure that people are on the same sync sheet here and that everyone's working as a team and all of that good stuff. But I don't want to suddenly say everyone has to do X, because that's not what you need to do on Ender.
Yeah, I mean, I had 4 lattice links and 4 squads, and having to put like almost Morcam's entire squad at one point doing AA and like a little bit in the other squads, we weren't fast enough. And then we finally got an Unbroken Veil, and we're all piled into point. I'm like, okay, we're ready. And it was like, okay, I told Synthesis, I'm like, we're gonna need air in 30 seconds. And sure as shit, 30 seconds later, 3 gals fly overhead, all dropping maxes, and their Air Force shows up. Mirror hammers us all dead. And it just rinse repeat for that hour and a half in the middle of the match before we swapped with Runsta.
And you can't really get, a Valcup to drop on the next base in line, because it's just going to get vaporized.
Oh god, no.
And you probably won't see the person who vaporized you because it was laggy.
Well, there's a bit of lag, but
The air was worse than the ground. The ground wasn't that bad.
The ground was a
Fa-
fucking
One of the laggier matches I played, but I don't know that.
Hmm?
Nice hot mic.
Pizza, hot mic. Hot mic.
Testing.
Hey, Kai, you showed
Testing,
up.
1, 2, 3.
You're
This
good.
thing working
Yeah,
now?
I'm here, Pronam. I was here from the beginning.
Alright, is this damn thing working now or no?
It's
Yes.
staticky.
It's fine.
We're still technically in first place, aren't we? No.
No.
Not
They
technically.
have
so
a
we are.
point system.
I think Miller had to get 70% to knock us off first, and they did not.
But
They
we
did not.
dropped down to 24.
I'm pretty sure during the interview they said
Buddy was moved to your channel.
that our points are still higher. It's like 270 to 250.
So we're
I
still
don't believe it.
In fact,
Yes.
that is what they said, unless they miscalculated.
I
They
believe
We're
they
also
still
miscalculated.
technically in the lead.
It was 64 to 24 during the stream.
Yeah, no, they have it calculated up now. We're still in
Okay.
first.
Okay. So who are we facing?
Bricks or Connery?
If Connery wins, we face Connery. If Briggs wins, we face Briggs.
Not Cobalt?
Cobalt
I
is
can
gonna
tell you
fight
now.
Miller.
If Briggs
we'll
warp
be
beats
facing
Connery,
Briggs.
then we face Cobalt.
Okay.
Fuck.
So we
So
should stack.
so I've
Briggs so
got
that
to
we
walk
fight
a
Cobalt.
Connery next weekend.
I need food, BRB.
Is that what
That's
you're
all on
telling
you,
me?
Mike.
Are we gonna ring for Briggs?
I will be ringing for Briggs.
If they let you in, shitter.
It's funny, man. I was on like the top kills for the server for like 3 months, like every single day consistently for 3 months in a row. They did all the lists for like best players on the server. It was not on a single one. I was like, you salty cunts.
They do not like you. They really do not like you.
They really
Wonder
do not.
why.
Also, Mike,
I'm
you still have
not,
the
am I that bad?
Why do you have a D117 tag?
Oh, that's another story, but we won't talk about that, will we, Fubar?
No, we won't.
No.
So which spaces did we win in the opener?
X-Tab.
X-Tab power.
X-Tab power reg and an
All the
X-Tab
X-Tab.
amp.
No, I got.
then we lost.
I backcapped them on one base. I can't remember if it was 2, and then they just dumped 4-1 odds on me.
Every base we went to
Pizza.
is
Broken
max,
pizza.
were they just rotating people left and right just to keep things going?
That's the only explanation I have. Because
Because like there was no way that the same person was on max the entire time.
Are we able to do a Daybreak cash dump stat to see if they put more money into resources? Because it seemed like there were maxes endlessly.
There were maxes and air hammers like nowhere.
Really, to the stage where
I'm
we're
very
having to spend
tempted.
money on resource ticks to win a smash?
The resource
would be
boost is
surprised.
double. I mean, it's 100. It's
Yeah, it's double.
ridiculous.
Really?
Well, I did see them extracting maxes in mass with one of their gal ball gals. So they were doing some kind of coordinated heavy
It was
airlift.
a QRF, and what they would do is they would then pick up all those maxes and go to the next base and dump them, pick them up, go to the next base and dump them over and over again. And they were in the middle of that laggy air platoon, so you couldn't touch them. Basically, they were using their rep gals as dropping maxes off as a fight QRF style.
Well, that's fucking brilliant.
That's incredibly organized logistics
We've done
to do
that
that.
before. We've done that before. So,
You
but
just need the luxury of the
Pizza.
pizza. Just mic your mic.
No, it was wild. I mean, like we're sitting on point at Broken Vale. We're in the building, and then all of a sudden you see on the mini map 3 gals coming into a straight line, and they all drop fucking like a squad each, with the air ball all around them.
can someone link me
fucked.
match stats?
Give me a second.
I ordinarily don't care about stats.
Volt had most deaths on Emerald.
Congrats!
What else is new?
What just happened?
When have we not had the most deaths in a game that we've played?
Okay, you guys can replace this with PHX.
Honestly, if I think we had anyone less than the team we had today, I think this thing's got to turn out a lot worse as far as that argument's concerned.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm just looking at stats, the first thing that screams at me, we've already said this, is our air seriously underperformed for whatever reason yet to be completely determined and will be written down in the debrief doc. Because that's 48 people lacking on the field.
I don't know how, but my squad apparently had 41 kills reported, but 0 participants.
It's incredibly hard, Pizza, to fight airhammer lock-ons when when you're lagging really hard. If you're getting no hit indicators, if you're getting hit before you hear the lock tone, if they're just rushing you with the airhammers and you don't see them till you're dead, it is incredibly hard to fight an airhammer reaver.
Is this mic working now or no?
Yeah.
It's working.
Everyone say no.
Yeah.
Lock-ons were allowed. Miller wanted lock-ons.
Miller will not play
Without
when
lock-ons.
they don't have
God
lock-ons.
damn it! Why did I not pull lock-ons then?
Oh, you would have changed the match.
It would have at least saved like half our Valks.
Can
He
we
wasn't
not
the
play
only
match
one.
if they don't do a non-lock-on?
I know my platoon pulled air a few times, and I think even Medium, who's in here, said, "Can I do lock-ons?" And someone said no. So that.
Hamo pinged me before the match and said lock-ons were a go, so I told all my guys.
I tried to find all the platoon leaders before the match, but about 40 minutes to go, it just got really hectic because I was expecting Wycliffe and he wasn't feeling well.
So it's Wycliffe's fault.
It's all Wycliffe's fault. But I mean, Stroff's squad, I was watching them on the map, they just melt, and Trees was getting very upset over Whispers because there was no way they could fight laggy Airhammer Reavers. Because before you know it, they've rushed you and then they've murdered you.
Well, that's again the good thing we're not fighting on Halcyon again because it doesn't have the 1500 meter range walk.
I think the other. Sorry.
Go. There you go.
I think the other lesson is faction choice. NC every time.
Well, don't give laggy servers. NC is the other one. I'm not a big KD fan. Is there any way of reading the stats on KD? Because it looks horrid. All of NC.
It is horrid. There is no way, at least you
It was
can
that bad. It
paint
was
it
that
badly.
bad.
Well, paint it in a good light.
Well, can we? I'm just trying to find who underperformed. I'm just trying to find a good metric to do that. Maybe metrics is a bad way to do that.
Don't use KD because it's
Find someone who
farming
performs
instead of doing something else.
Honestly, it's at this point it boils down to communication and who bailed first.
And who lost the most bases.
I
At
apologize.
say,
I
we went
apologize
AWOL.
if this has been covered. What happened in the East?
That was
MCY.
Negator, right?
MCY was what happened.
Yes. Is Negator still here? I guess he's not here.
He's here in body.
I think I will take blame for tech plane. I was told to rotate. I was still defending Genesis. I did not see the clock and I did not rotate in time. And we got there 10 seconds too late. If I'd have left when I was told, we would have held the tech plane. That one is actually on me. Not negated. That was solely me.
Winston would like to have a word with you then.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't see the time on him, man.
Well, on Hassan, and this is a very Hassan specific thing, but if we need to rotate platoons again, it cannot just be within the detach. I think we need to do a full rotation.
One thing that I'll point out is I think we did not do a good job of exploiting opportunities that we did have.
I will
One
also agree
thing
with that.
that really, really helps us on Hassan is you have the potential to do some turning around if you hit multiple bases. The one base we finally fucking capped after so long was taken down at, I think it's Kestrel Crossing. Kestrel's Watch, that's it. And the reason why that went through is you had Kestrel's Watch ticking in addition to 3 or 4 other bases. The thing that we learned against an air-heavy server in the last tournament, especially against like Cobalt, the reason why we beat them at least last tournament, we were relentless in attacking bases to the point where they could not come back and bite us. In the case of Hassan, what we would do is we'd attack a base and it bought us time to attack another base. And when they would try and make an offensive push on us, we'd backcap them. And that's the only thing that kept us in the game for so long. The one thing that we couldn't do, the reason why at least that wasn't as successful as it could have been, is whenever we have these bases ticking, either people are sucked up in the fights that they're doing or they're not communicating, because we have these bases that are available and we ask for help and nobody comes. But also nobody sees it. They're engaged with whatever conflict they are at the moment. And when I get a massive ball of the Miller Air, in addition to max suits and the full force multiplier treatment, you get pushed off.
I think we should also start learning to drop bases sometimes, because sometimes there's like 2 times where we just intentionally I just ignored synthesis because was it Iron Quay? At this point we knew we were gonna lose it. Instead we went to 2 other bases and we assisted there with the cap or resecure, and it helped a lot better because at one point it was this loss they had a retarded amount of air and sunnies and everything, and we just knew that no resecure is going to save this, and if any air is going to be sent there and we request for help for air there, it's just going to get dunked, and the air was already struggling so hard. Sometimes we just need to drop a base. It's a thesis.
Well,
I
I
think
know
at one stage
the-
I was at Bravado and Ziggurat at the same time. Like, I don't know. The Ziggurat, I don't know. I think we could have done well there if we came close. Like, if we'd have got that, we would have cut off all that territory.
The one time I kind of went AWOL on Runsta and took my guys over to Zig, one problem I noticed, like, people need to stay the fucking doors and near cover when we're in an air dominant situation. I'm begging and pleading for people to stay near the buildings and not get spread out. And, oh yeah, the air's not here yet. And then 10 seconds later, the air's there, air hammering them all. And it was over. So
One thing that they really did that killed us is the Sunday spam. We used to be very, very good at that. And it might say something at least of the folks that we brought are outstanding shooters, but a lot of them are not willing to, well, spam the crap out of the cheesy shit. Because what they did repeatedly in order to take back bases from us is they will drive not one Sunday on the point, not 2, but they will spam as many as they can onto the point. They'll even get walker buses up, and when they leave a base, they set up a deployed anti-infantry Sunday near the point so they can come back easy.
Yeah, I noticed that actually. On the left side,
lane smash on a server smash scale. They know what they're doing, and it's designed specifically so they can win that fucking lane. And whenever Miller decides they want a base, and they put their air on it, they put the maxes on it, the only thing that we've been able to do is delay.
One of the things I noticed was at Power Reg, they would keep leaving a cloak Sunday behind. And we would usually have to take about 30 seconds to find it, and if we didn't, they would just overwhelm us at the 2-minute mark.
They did it a lot at the large bases as well.
Yeah,
at Wainwright,
one of the things I came across was a deployed battle bus with dual furies standing on a construction site A point.
Yeah,
they did that at every single construction site.
We need to
bar none.
One is never a problem, but about 8 is.
But when we go to attack one of their bases again, we need to just learn where their cloak Sunday placements are and just immediately go for them. Because that once we figured out that was what was going on, we started having better results. Not enough to actually get Power Reg, but get it down to a reasonable cap point.
One other minor nitpick, and I'll put this in the Debrief document. People have got to blow terminals. Like, that was getting ridiculous. When we rotated into, I'm probably getting them backwards, when we rotated into Hurricane, we arrived on the place with one terminal up and hacked by the enemy, and just being hacked by the enemy as we arrived, and the generator's down. I was kind of flabbergasted by that. And we kept having an issue at Ixtab where people were hacking stuff out, or were, not destroying the terminals that they left. So when the enemy did get into Ixtab while we were off putting out another fire, we had to spend a lot of resources and time, the most important, the time to clean them out.
So what happened on the Wainwright armory push all the way down? And was it, how are we, who was
Oh
there?
no, like at that point, like what is it? I don't know what time it was. It's like half an hour in the end. We just we decided we lost and we didn't give a fuck. So yeah.
Oh, well, that's piss poor attitude, Bruno.
It was, but you know what? We were hammering our faces against the same bases for a long time.
Well, it's Server Smash. What do you expect? It's 2
Yeah,
hours
I
of...
think we need to work on the communication aspect a bit. I will say that it's very tough when I don't know who I'm working with. I will say though that in some cases I did have a pretty positive idea of like who I was working with in the case of like when I would move over to the east to try and flip some bases that were not being flipped. I was able to communicate with Runsta and coordinate with some of the folks he had there. But it's a pain in the ass. But the big problem was, the one thing that didn't happen that needed to happen is whenever you have a base that is not ticking, has connection to one of your bases, and you can flip, and it's not flipped, you are fucking up. I cannot count the number of times where they could completely fuck over an Emerald push just by sending one infiltrator to flip every single point at a base. And it would...
What specifically are you
gap.
thinking of?
Well, I'm thinking of an example of like one of the assaults on Iron Quay. I was watching us dump people there, and I think at this point we had lost construction site Alpha, or it was flipping, so we didn't have connection to Iron Quay except through Drexler. As I'm flying over there, I'm having to yell at my boat pilot to pull over to the left and drop one guy on each point on Drexler, and then have them redeploy back in, because an infiltrator is flipping all the points there, and we have maybe about 2-3 squads sitting on the point doing jack shit. And it happened over and over because they're doing the thing that we used to do, which is whenever we see a point that can be contested, we do it, we contest it. And over in the east, around Mulak Pass, I had to send my guys over there and call it out, and I called for support, and nobody ever fucking came.
So speaking for your platoon,
got it.
Who in your platoon? Remind us who was in your platoon and what their roles were in that situation.
I think you just can't stand to let a fat
This is
guy like me out of
Pronouns
your sight.
platoon, which is us, AC, and L.
Which, I guess it would be what I would call like
Only
a
we can use that word.
heavy assault platoon that just drives forward. There's no support for that.
There is not very good support. That was the problem. Usually used at least to Leverage has always done an outstanding job of setting up stuff, but it's a really shitty playstyle for them, so I can understand why it's fatiguing. And when we don't have support, that support element in there, I mean, I will be the first to say, you may have the best shooters in the world, but you don't have anybody at least that can back them up and support them, you're fucked.
Well,
and so
Server Smash is fatiguing for everyone, right? The only difference is if you're winning, you can at least lean on that emotionally. But it's just still grind on the same bases, and you're doing the same sort of things.
So my thing at least is I want to try and change some of the force composition, and I think we also need a little bit of practice in terms of going on to Jaeger and practicing some of these lanes with the actual platoons that will be facing off there.
Okay,
and
so
it
in
needs
your
to be well
Question.
organized.
Oh, go Mike.
Pizza, how much longer did you hang around for Lane Smash after I left yesterday?
I played
like,
both
was that
rounds. I played both rounds, and they were not the best of players on the opposing team, but they had some very good ideas, and it was very representative of a lot of the Server Smash stuff. The only element that it lacks, in my opinion, is a significant air presence, which is a little bit problematic. But
So you
it
think
is,
if
they
we
are better
practice
prepared
that-
than our people, for sure.
Okay, so you think if we practice that lane smash, not on 24v24, but at 48v48, so there's a certain, let's say we can try and find that right balance of air we need in that situation for a platoon v platoon, and we practice it enough where we find that balance, and we practice it to intensity, like a good intensity, do you think we could find potentially another level? I think we can find another level above that. Like, to me, that felt slow. like, I know I was meant to be leading a squad. I didn't get to talk much, but to me, like, I felt lethargic in that, and still, but yeah,
That's the thing
I think we can do that.
better than the difference between us and Briggs is we're very
Yeah.
proactive in what we're doing. We move quick, and we're supposed to be, well, flipping these bases and making it so that our opponent has to deal with multiple fires. And in this case, we did not do that. We dropped the ball. And that's what causes us to just... We can't get anywhere when we only have 2 available options that they're able to dump their Air Force on. When you have 2 bases that are right next to each other that you're contesting, and you're not contesting a base that's on the other side of the map that is available, you fuck yourself. They can easily move their Air Force over. And the one thing that really sums up this match is wherever they decide to drop their air ball, that base is fucked. We can delay it, we can possibly repel the attack after the air is leaved, but if it's still there, it's fucked. But the big problem was, everywhere else on the map was still fucked. Because nobody frickin' pushed out. Nobody pulled the leverage game of flipping every possible connection that you have, and maybe backing it up every now and then. Nobody did that.
That's what
I'm
we
not
were
sure
trying
that's
to do.
fair. I think a lot of people were doing that, Pizza. You just may have not noticed it on the lanes.
Oh,
that
I
you were
noticed it
playing on.
Oh,
happen
we've
every
been
now and
watching the
then.
East lane very carefully.
Yeah, and we kept
and
an
it
eye
wasn't
on it.
used.
Wasn't
And the
happening.
guide already told me that it was a lot to do with Kane1 not performing too well for him.
And
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
it's-
sure,
it
but
was all. Let me be clear. It was all of us underperforming, and there's a lot
Yeah.
more to it than that. But
We've got
until I
some
watch the
problems with the
footage,
force
I
gun.
don't know. And Pizza, all you can really do is speak for the platoon you're in and the lanes that you were fighting on at this point in time until you have time to digest all the other information. 'Cause
I know.
otherwise, it's just speculation.
I know our lane, we had every base ticking at every opportunity except for one point when I asked Runsta to do power reg for me because I didn't have enough people. But like
And,
other than that,
yeah, we tried to get on there as best we
Yeah.
could, dropping what we
but,
were
like
doing.
in between what Runsta and I were like every base, every single time I looked, was ticking one way or the other. You know, so like I mean I don't know if it was a problem other places, but where we were, it was all right, and we would swap pop back and forth and do the same things we've always done. The problem is like Pizza was saying, when there's only 1 or 2 offenses going on, it makes it very easy to figure out where to roll the Air Force.
Well, not only that, because it was Folian to me and we're in the center, it's all of the bases that are ticking are in the center, which are really easy for them to just get to. It's not like it's one's on one side of the map and one's on the other. Like, because it was all in the center, they could just quickly chain across and just keep constantly going, and there's not a lot we can do with the air, and it's easier for them to pull the redeploy meta. Not to mention that the Sundies would actually be in range of them. So whatever defensive Sunday they had cloaked somewhere would be enough for them to just get their entire platoon shifted over. So everywhere we went, yeah, the way we were successful in actually pushing out was when we had Goon actually pull their Sunders on point, and whenever we could actually get them set up, we were fine. But we also had to deal with the fact that we had to kill their Sunders first, and then Goon would probably lose about half of them, and then it's just half as effective.
What can we do at least to change that? Because the one thing that really works is to have everybody at least educated and able to spam Sundays, or if not, have some
So pull
squad in
fucking
the...
Sundays.
I mean,
Like,
that's
you
what we
just said
did.
that TIW doesn't pull Sundays.
We
So pull
pulled.
fuck-
I mean, it's
Hang on, Polly. Hang on,
Deep
Polly.
breaths,
You're like
guys.
AC
Polly,
and
Deep
Polly,
Lovers.
shut the
breaths.
fuck up for
Fucking
1 second.
Sundays.
Shut
Really
the fuck up
deep
for 1
breaths.
second. I brought several battle bus guys, and we pulled it over and over. We did do that. The problem
great.
at least is, you need to have folks earmarked beforehand to do that. Otherwise, there's no organization to it. Miller has practiced this to where it runs like a well-oiled machine. You
again,
have squads in their platoons that can do that.
That might be unique to your platoon. I'll just speak for the poor little 24-man team that I had. Again, unique situation. You guys, I admit, probably had harder fights. But with 24 men, I don't have many people to do things, but I dedicated 6 people to do nothing but vehicle play and to let me know if they had no resources to do anything. And then I dedicated backs to be my heavy hitters, and then 3 just were kind of like my D117s, flipping bases around and it works, but we spent Wednesday, Thursday, Friday between Bax, Ione, and us planning defensively every single base of what needed to be done. And I really doubt TRW, Leverage, and AC did the same thing.
AC performed actually extremely well, I have to say, surprisingly.
But did you work together before the smash? To
No, we
plan out
don't. Okay, you can contact AC and try to get them work with you. It's not gonna happen.
Then we have
Bro,
to
he
question
didn't even
what we're
know he
doing.
had accounts until I went in his TeamSpeak like 2 days ago and told him he had 12 slots. He's like, well, fuck, I better write a forum post.
Okay, well then, I don't know who assigned AC and handed that notice to them and managed them. Maybe that's a Synthesis fault.
I mean, it was.
So why was command silent for most of the match?
Say again, Kai?
Why was command silent for most of the match, at least during the first half?
I don't really think it was that silent. It's the same as normal.
It was
Talking about the mumble?
It was definitely quieter than usual. Like there would be.
That's quiet.
There were 3-minute periods
Yes,
where
it's
nobody was
quiet.
saying anything.
I think it's the effect of people whining about how much command shadow there is, and that's fine. But when there's not enough,
No, that wasn't it.
yeah, I don't think it was something that. I honestly think it was just people being pushed and having to deal with their own damn lanes.
Maybe,
They're busy.
but maybe, I don't know if Synthesis is here, but maybe we have to write into what the Force Commander's job is a sit rep every 5 minutes between either detached leads or platoon leads. Like, what's going on? Give me an update. Otherwise, you're just making an assumption.
Because you really can't rely on platoon leads to keep communicating with each other like that, and then just step in once like shit goes wrong.
Well, I mean, what?
I mean,
Yeah,
Decatur,
you're
I
identifying a problem. but
I
what's
can't.
the
I can't.
fix?
I can't bail anybody out in the eastern lane if I don't know what the fuck is going wrong. Like, I can't come over there and help you if I don't actually hear, "Hey, I need help." I can't find out that
So-
you're losing, and except if I look at my map. But usually, when I'm looking at the map, I already have 4 or 5 bases that are on my border that I'm dealing with too. So if you need help, I need to hear this, and
Yes,
that
the
just
big
never
thing-
happened.
That was the primary frustration, is when you call out for help or something, is either you don't get that information, or there's no response to it. If you can't commit to it, then it's... I need to know.
I know. No, these are all good points that I'll have to fix. I do remember saying that we were just getting destroyed repeatedly and stopped talking at some point.
I know the only time I heard someone actually ask for help was Mike asked for help, and I sent him half a squad, and that was it.
Thank you very much.
And I think I sent him a squad as well.
I think my problem there was I got too tunnel visioned into trying to push from spawn, and I wasn't like thinking of my out of the box options of bringing a Sunder from here or a Sunnybull from there. Eventually someone piped up and said, bro, what the fuck are we doing? Let's go to X-Tab Water. We pulled a whole battle bus train, and like it was a risky move. I admit we nearly lost the base because of it, but we fucked off their Sunders and we cleaned the points within like 20 seconds and got everything flipped. Just from pulling like 5 buses and like risking it to try and like fuck them off. Because if I'd have stayed doing what I was doing, I would have lost for sure. So it was worth taking the risk to go and try something different. Like that's, yeah, I just got tunnel visioned, man. Absolute tunnel vision.
It wasn't just happening on the, like,
User was moved to your channel.
the Fort Drexler attempt. Losing Fort Drexler hurt because when we came into Fort Drexler, when there was an all-in secure on Fort Drexler, we really needed more intel about what was going on the ground. Like, we presumed, given how close the situation was, that hopefully you just needed bodies and, you know, it'd be a quick cleanup and that was it with a little more manpower. And the problem was, we get there and you guys are trapped in spawn, and they have Sunder clusters near the western point. That was something that follow-on forces, if it had been passed on to them that was the case, they could potentially do something. You know, run carpet bombings or something, or just air insert onto the point instead of coming in via ground and doing more of the same that's not working. Like, bottom line from this match, to me is if something's not working, we've got to fix it. How that happens, I don't know, but
It's too early to say. We have to watch all the footage to get a good idea. I don't know if Synthesis recorded his point of view, because I'd like to listen to comms again.
I have
Can
mine
we
recorded.
please write
It's being
down
uploaded now.
some of this stuff? If we can identify the problems here, just write down. Let's just write this down while it's fresh in our minds.
Well, I'm not sure if we can. We don't all have the knowledge.
Well, write it down for your platoon, and if you want to, Lem, you can write it down after you've watched the footage, and then see what kind of perspective you get on it.
Hi, I'm back. Yes, I did record my point of view.
Okay. I dragged Fadala in here because he was running an observer cam for the beginning. I don't know if he can shed any light onto anything, but Fadala, can you give us an assessment of what you saw from the sky?
I was there. No, I can't give you anything. I was there for 10 minutes and then I had to run. I had an emergency. Sorry, brother.
No problem. Worth a shot.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so I can speak on the individual things that happened within my 3 squads that caused that it contributed to the total breakdown. Like, I don't think we're going to come to any single conclusive decision that across the board can be applied. And really, there's something that each individual outfit has to change.
Then let's hear it.
Those would be easier to identify. I know what I can change. I know what my guys can change. I have no idea what happened on the rest of the map.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear it.
Before we do that, just a quick show of virtual hands. If they were playing TR, would it have been the same manic mess?
Yes.
Yes.
Not fighting Red October.
I think it would have been.
Not to the same extent, but it would still have been, yes.
I think it would have been different in the air because the advantage of NC is you've got the air hammer, which is ridiculously powerful against both infantry and air vehicles, whereas on the TR side you have to make a distinct choice. Do you want the Banshee or do you want a nose gun? And I think that would have made at least some difference.
Okay, then flip that around. If we were NC and they were VS, would we feel any better?
Well, it would have been an easier match, but I think their practice probably would have won out.
I do think that. I mean, for me, on our lane, every base had about 30% of their infantry in max suits, and there was no. I mean, we did terrible. We did terrible because of that. And what compounded that was, and I didn't see this in any of my squads. I talked prior to and during the whole match about pulling stuff if you've got resources available. Was comets. There was a supreme lack of comets, and when there was a comet, there wasn't an NG trail in them, and that was something that my guys. Each squad had a problem with, so their maxes would just get on point and stay. And
I think
that
we
would
just
be one
brought
of
too
those
many heavy
little things.
shooters and just not enough max users or whatnot.
Well, we can say that, but I think the real thing is some sort of communication or teamwork oriented.
I think we all have different opinions on this. I think we should all write them down because clearly people don't agree. I would say that it was just the air.
I mean, each
platoon.
platoon.
Everybody clearly has a different opinion on this.
Right?
I mean, each platoon had
Right,
things
I'm
they
just
needed to work
saying,
on.
Everybody has points. I mean, you just have to write it down.
Like,
But this is why we have the debrief doc. But
Yeah, that's why we have to talk.
yeah,
it's an
I mean,
option.
Let's
We
use it.
have this rare opportunity to quickly all gripe at Synthesis and say he sucked. So that's why we're here.
But I mean, each platoon did
platoon's
bad
which?
for their own reasons. Like, I mean, I can point to a few things that went wrong with mine. I'm sure everyone else can. But each platoon dropped the ball for very different reasons and has different things they need to work on. That said,
The biggest gripe in the back is. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
and that said, I'm not sure if we're going
I
to use
honestly
these same
think-
platoons going forward. I mean, I know mine is probably fine. I might need I might need to tweak a couple things, but that's more on the individual squad level rather than the platoon comp. But some of these platoons might need to be remade going into the semis and the finals.
Was there a plan in place to keep it the same?
No, I wouldn't keep it like this at all.
I wouldn't.
I don't think there was. No.
Never.
I think I could be 10 times more effective with 12 people being uninterrupted by myself than with 30 other people.
I need a full squad command. I can't be running 5 people, 6 people the entire time. We were more effective when we had Haya also in the same squad.
I
But
definitely
I think
noticed
Mike
that.
is saying that he doesn't want to platoon lead. Is that right, Mike?
Yeah, I can't do it the way I used to, man. I gotta admit that. I'm not the same PL I used to be. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't think you were commenting on the number of people you had in your squad, though it was obviously a problem that you had people that you couldn't
Had
rely
people
upon.
drop out, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
Mike,
trying to
don't-
do a platoon's work with.
Don't blame yourself. Like my
18,
experience with
16
platoon
people.
leading and squad, having a squad, I need like the most solid squad underneath me, and I never tell them really what to do. I just tell them in the same way that I tell the other squads, and I never really think about it. I have my squad lead micromanaging everything. I actually don't even listen to my squad most of the time. They yell at me when they need me to put a beacon down. And you lacked that because you had no shows and stuff like that. So it's not totally your fault.
I will say it's the same way for me. This is the first one I've squad led and platoon led because Lamp didn't show up, and it took a little bit to fucking figure it out. Like luckily I've worked with a lot of those guys. Like having the Blop guys in my squad made it a little difficult, but basically I would, like I said, use them like you'd use any other squad, and then like guys were coming up with ideas on their own, so it was mostly all right. Rain was fine. Rain and fucking Karst. Waffles, like all those guys were doing a really good job helping me squad lead.
I do want to say people not showing up to this is totally unacceptable. That is outrageous. I mean, when I looked through, and who the hell was it? That wasn't even Igru. No offense to Igru. I mean, they showed up, but they weren't even on TeamSpeak until like 15 minutes before the match start. I mean, that's totally unacceptable. People need to organize the people that are going to show up, and you need to have the correct number, because we were down on Pop at the start of that match, and that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Our platoon
My
was
problem
alright,
wasn't
though.
with
We had
people
to bring the
showing
number
up,
of
man.
people that
My
you signed
problem
up
was with
for.
People going rogue. No, my problem wasn't with people like every single person, bar one, who I had like to sign up and came. I had people reinstalled to play this match, and they did a fucking excellent job.
Okay.
The problem I
Then
had
maybe
was
you're
people
not
who went
necessarily
rogue.
the issue here, but there were definitely squads and platoons in this smash that did not have the requisite number of people at the start of the match.
This is true. Totally true.
Was anyone
That's
watching
not okay.
Poonanners' pop counter, or was that even up this match?
I checked it once.
Yes.
To check
Even
was
if we're just
checking.
10 people short, that's practically an entire squad. That's
Yeah,
insane.
it's almost like half a lane.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a message from Justicia at 10 minutes prior that we were, 20 short?
And
I
totally
think really
believe that.
hammering
That was
down
insane.
that people need to be in PSB TeamSpeak an hour beforehand, or is
Okay.
is key.
Foley, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
How effective was it when last match I was running all the reserves accounts, just like someone separate that wasn't even playing the game? Just
It was great. Like the way we did it last time, where me and you and Wycliffe were in TeamSpeak, so it was separate from the thing, and like you were just sitting there staring at the pop thing, and like just scrolling through TeamSpeak and finding people like that. Like that was great. Like we were at 240 the entire time, like period, bar none.
okay.
And
So moving forward then, because I noticed we had a lot of people also in infantry reserves, and we just weren't pulling them down quick enough.
Yeah, I think that may have been
So
part of the problem.
how effective would it be if we had at least even just one person dedicated solely to moving from reserves into our normal squads? That would try at least maybe mitigate our pop problem at the beginning of the match.
No, I'm with Morcam here, where it is a bit ridiculous that we were down 20 at the start.
Yeah, I'm also there too, but I'm saying, how effective would it be if we had one person just doing that? That's not even playing the match.
The problem is, you pretty much need a smash rep to do it.
That sounds like a job like someone like Mrs. Spratt could do. She would nail the shit out of that job.
Well, we had Kai do it last time.
Do you need someone?
I gave Kai the reserve spreadsheet, and I was like, here, don't give those out unless you're 100% going to put them in the game, and you're in charge. And that was that. Like I said, we were at perfect pop the whole match.
Okay.
Like he started 20 minutes
We had
before.
to pull somebody in. I know, like it's totally. I mean, you're never going to get 240 people to sign up in advance and show up to an event. It's not going to happen. But I mean, we were way off in this smash. Way worse than we have been in previous smashes.
This has never happened before,
I
so
was
we
gonna
need
say
to fix it.
Especially the one that everybody
235
knew was going to be
ideal.
as hard as this one and as big of an event as this one. That's just blows my mind.
I thought people were like fucking I was fucking hyped for this. Were people like not hyped for this or like?
I had a waiting list for my outfit. I mean, which is almost unheard of for us.
Yeah, our outfit had 3 weddings, and then Lamp no-showed today.
Can you drag KV down here?
And someone else had a wedding today
I had a
too.
birthday
What the
to deal
fuck?
with, and I still made it.
Yeah, no, I had 3 guys, and we had weddings.
Happy birthday.
Moved to your channel.
No, not mine.
So it's actually KV.
Yeah, I think it's actually KV.
I consider you to be
that's
late,
KV.
Kai.
It is KV. I asked him to come in.
Hi.
Okay. Hey, what's up? Welcome to the lovely Debrief.
Have my children.
We bought
Yes,
the
I will
Goku
do
decal
that.
for you.
Why, do you not want them anymore?
Only if you pay for it.
I heard this is where we all argue for about 6 hours.
Yeah,
That's what
I'm trying to
Reddit
get
tells me.
stuff written down
It's
right
it's more like 7. Not
I
really
don't know
6.
if are we
Hey,
arguing about
guys.
anything though?
Not a huge amount. I think there's
Clocks
frustrations,
go back
but
for
yeah.
me tonight, so I've got a good 8 hours to stay.
But yeah, can we start writing stuff down on the debrief talk, please?
So, did it get linked? I'm sorry.
Who's who? There's platoons. I don't know.
Yeah,
Thesis was
just
cleaning it
link
up.
them, dude.
I think it's clean up now.
Maybe this is an
Almost.
Illuminati meeting. A discussion vote. But in principle, going into this final leg of the competition, are we doing a fixed roster of outfits to keep cohesion? Or are we going to be political and bring people in that messes everything up?
That is an infinitely long conversation that we need to have.
Yeah, I mean, I think we need to set it up with the whole idea of having your shootman's folks, your support folks, just try and see what we can do in organizing a comp where we can
Are we
get
going
a
back
wide
to,
range of playstyles here. Well, it's the thing where you can have, say, AC in a squad, and then have some folks, like, say, this is hypothetical, like Goon. Because AC can't spam battle buses. Goon can. Goon can support them very well. And then if you want, have somebody like, say, Volt there, because Volt can do the, pretty much keep them up with medics, ammunition, that kind of deal. They know their tactical play. Yeah. Just have a force comp with that in mind.
Well, the other thing that we could do, and I'll
Hang on,
obviously...
Lem.
Go on.
Mike.
In saying that, Peter, with both sides of that argument, I know you and I will both agree that having lane smashes every weekend will greatly benefit Emerald in the long term going into this finals. I think, I don't know if you guys have ever been to something like that, but I would, if we were to put that to a vote, I think we should start doing that every Friday and Saturday nights, along with, what's that other thing Pronam does?
Pickups.
Pickups
Pickups is only
yeah.
for infantry
But
skill.
the other thing with Lane Smash is they record that footage and then they review it afterwards. So all of our problem children that we come through, like people that need to learn to cheese, people that need to learn to do this, we get them through, we do it, we record it, film it, they review it afterwards, they learn from it. I think we have more to gain from that in preparation. Even if you want to go with a set, if you want to go with a change team, you want to put people in, whatever you want to do, I think that is where we're going to get our most benefit from. Because it's putting people under pressure. What's happening on live right now is people are not being put under pressure, period. Like, it's just not, it's just not happening. They need a pressure cooker. All these other servers are throwing their people in a pressure cooker, and it's going to pay off for them. We need to do the same.
The Millers folks have been practicing every single week, and almost every single outfit has been doing it. And I've been watching it happen. And we do not do the platoon level scrims at all.
Or just 24 versus 24, which they usually do.
It's not hard. And it works well, because I watched the Briggs guys start honing out different ideas. Like, they actually do this thing where, on the Biolab, for example, the opener, they've been practicing the Azamir Southern Warp game. And what's interesting is they get the ESF folks from their Bravo squad in, flip the point really quick, and they have a battle gal up, except the battle gal is full of max suits. Okay, fine. They have the Bravo guys there for support, and they have some of their best players in the max suits, and they work at least with that. So once the opposition for Briggs comes in with, we're using Banshees with lock-ons. So it's kind of similar to the Miller setup of the lock-on ball with anti-infantry shit. And they would try and light up the gal, and once the battle gal that was killing their infantry on the outside went down, they moved the maxes in. They set up around the teleporters, and they set up for the long haul. And they're testing out how feasible it is, and they're trying out these different strategies. They're innovating on what works, what doesn't. And what Miller's been doing is a similar thing. They've figured out how to negate a lot of our top shooters. They know at least what cheese really locks down a base. And we don't have that. On live, at least, you can pull cheese and farm the fuck out of anybody. It's easy. There's a bunch of disorganized pubs. Miller's got the organization down pat, and Briggs has also been practicing, at least with a lot of their leads, and a lot of their platoon leads for the day, on how to do this effectively. And we don't do that.
I don't totally disagree nor agree with that statement, but that might be something more to take offline as to who has that capability and who doesn't, and how to wrap that into a team. And I guess from that, just finishing off what I said earlier, if we say give D117 12 slots, it's up to D117 to say, okay, I'm going to take 6 from D117, and then the other 6 are going to be from whoever to complement their team. And it's the same what Mike does to some extent. And just have it as a fixed roster. If other people want to play in the team, they've got to have an alliance with an existing outfit to utilize their strength. I know that's maybe a conversation for Trev.
I do absolutely concur with this needs to be our wake-up call. I mean, I realize that everybody here gets that, but that needs to be the joint message, no matter what we decide, like, hey guys, we had our fun, we rolled it, but people are catching on, we have to play this serious.
Runs to the stuff with alerts on live, nobody gives a shit about live. It's an alert with 3 factions, and you have 2 opponents, and you cannot control the variables there. You want to be able to win.
You were complaining though that we're not actually doing stuff on live.
The best example of why that doesn't work is Connery on Friday.
Oh my god.
Yep, right there.
Fucking laughing. That is that.
Not even
not
talking
gonna
about it
happen.
on a coordination level. Just get people set up in a platoon together and don't coordinate beyond that. Just like treat
Leading
it.
a fight though.
It's like
Play the
training
game
for
like
a
it was
different kind of
2013.
fight.
Yeah.
That's the thing though,
It
Rockstar.
is.
It's training for a different kind of fight. It's
Not
not a
as
server
fast,
slash at least with 3 factions.
So
You
throw
can
yourself
still
against
influence it, no problem.
So
I was
throw
going to
your-
throw yourself against a fight that outnumbers you.
Yeah.
That you know
Why
they're
can't
gonna
you do
bring
that
with-
on Jaeger and do it for a lane and practice at least the lane that you're going to be deployed at?
Because that's
Figure out what works, what doesn't.
That's an even fight though. Like
Yes.
If you want to work on basic cohesion in a
You
squad,
can go to live.
yeah, live's a great place to do that. Go hold down a single triple and wait for 100 people to rock up and time how long you last. That's a great way to work on squad cohesion, communication, all that stuff, squad play, squad balance, squad everything. Done. Awesome job. But in this context, when you have to work with multiple other people in other platoons, it's not going to quite gel as well. It's great. I mean, I'm with you on that. If you do it, I'll come and join you, whatever. But it's in this context, it's not going to be as effective. Like,
Well,
you're
yes,
gonna
but we're not
you have to do a lane smash. Let's do a lane
Yeah,
smash.
let's do
and then
both.
Think about it then, man. Let's do it.
Let's do both. Let's do both. Like we can't do lane smashes every single day. That's just not practical.
We're
I'm
saying every
saying once a
weekend.
week. Once a weekend, or like
right,
once or
but
twice a weekend.
right, but during the
I-
off time, treat the alerts as if it's also practice, because it's the best thing we've got.
You can use it at least for some of the simpler stuff. But when it
Yeah, no one
comes-
in here is going to argue against you playing organized and alert. I mean,
Yeah, that's fine.
go for it.
That's for the basic
If that's what you
organization
want to
stuff.
do, then go for it.
They need to play with Vindicators
Yeah,
and
but-
whoever else is on VS all the time, every time.
Mhm.
Otherwise
And it's
not
a
gonna
pain in
work.
the ass because you've got to try and get your platoons together. And if you can do it, then by all means do it. But we also need to have something at least outside of that where we can get our folks together.
And I'm with you on that.
It's changing the ingrained mentality too. And Pronoun mentioned earlier, they basically gave up. How do you stop that from happening? It's not lost until the 2-hour mark, right?
Well, we should have swapped people out. We should have done a total swap. That eastern lane about the 1 hour mark, and got some other people in there and got them a break. I mean, if nothing else, like let them run amp station defense for a little bit and rebuild some resources or something. That was one of my biggest complaints is we got swapped from one amp station to another. we got to beat our heads against the same basic problems all match, even though we swap bases.
What's that Google Doc thing? There it is.
Like, do you know where they upload that recording? Practices?
It's on that one, like that. I didn't even realize it, but yeah, that one we played in yesterday. There'll be a recording of that pop up at some stage, but they might only put it to their private Reddit as well.
And you're not on there, correct?
I'm gonna pull a Lemgar
Yeah,
here and say
they'll
that it might
never
not
give
be
me permission
relevant
for
for
that ever.
outfits having their own problems.
Wouldn't you have permission to that?
Their private sub? No.
Yeah, I thought you had permission to that.
Could probably ask for it and get it, but no, I do not at the moment.
I'm checking there. I'm gonna check the Briggs Reddit and see if it's up. Yep. I should have a Twitch link here soon.
Do you mean Squid's Twitch?
And the Twitch VOD, but I don't know if it's working or not.
What's that guy called from Briggs again? Banana D? Isn't he doing a lot
Shy
of
Guy
streaming?
Squid. Yep, I have it.
He does Lane Smash.
Alright,
Yeah.
I think I found the one.
One
this
should
is
be
the
it,
right
but I
one
don't know if
from
it's
yesterday.
working.
Right. I think this is the proper like hour and a half one. Did that work?
Yeah, I agree, KV. This video seems to be messed up at the moment.
Yeah, that's the open there where we were at the warp gate.
Actually working for you?
Yeah, the one I linked. The hour and a half one. I have to say I've been... Sorry.
What you guys need to be careful of, and I mentioned this to Hamo earlier, was this kind of I sense like it's something developing where people will only play planet side when it comes to a server smash match, but the month beforehand, whatever. Just log on for the SS and call it good after that. Just return for the next one. So I think Runsta's kind of encouragement to improve alert play, or even just playing the game in general, would probably be helpful for everyone involved.
I
People
kind of
get
agree with
rusty.
that, but that would count me out because I don't have the commitment to the game at that point in time, just real life family businesses.
I think there's a lot of outfits in this. Like, everyone has a commitment to play SS, but they don't have, like, they're kind of bored with the game, a lot of the game, a lot of the people. So being
agree,
really
I'm
honest
there.
about
It's
that,
totally true.
there's a lot of outfits in here. More than half, I'm fair to say, that have this issue.
Yeah. So that was ours. That was why we sucked so hard.
Hell,
Because
I
pulled
actually
a
wonder
squad
who...
of guys that... Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying I haven't run an ops for my outfit in a couple months. It's not the same faces I see online. It's not the same reliable folks. I had a few that was their first time smashes today.
I mean, if
I think
that's
every single outfit in here is the same case now.
I mean, if that's
Except maybe Goku.
I mean, if that's the case, then should we be bringing people that aren't really up on things?
Possibly, but it comes down to the platoon lead. Negator's still here, right? He still knows how to platoon lead, but maybe he needs to review if he has 12 slots for V. Maybe he needs to borrow 6 from someone more active on live who plays the same style that he's used to.
Well, I'm going to... What I've done in the past is put out calls, get everybody out, and run ops the way we used to, and keep a single crew of folks together, at least through the duration of this tournament, and ramp up how we play and expectation, because a lot of what I saw was just apparently the expectation of folks is not hard enough on live, that things like passing a lead for beacon and paying attention to that isn't important to them. And that's something I used to stress, or we used to stress in running ops, and something we did when we were successful in Surge Smash, but I haven't been here to beat it at people's heads, and that's for my outfit, and that's what's gonna have to change. So I'm gonna have to, I don't know, get myself back interested in the game enough to play enough to get our folks back up to standard and get our better shooters back online.
Yeah. I'm having to tell my guys this is the funniest thing ever, to relearn how to use a fucking max.
But that, I'll be honest, I think there's like 3 lessons that every single outfit across the board could use, and just, like I said, I haven't seen those lands, but I can only assume based on what you're telling me. Was it, y'all saw scats as much as we did across the board?
Oh yeah, definitely.
How do you handle scats? What does Volt do against scats?
Heavies.
Comets.
Did it work?
Death Season Comets were the way our entire platoon pretty much just ran it against maxes.
If done right,
So-
conks.
Yeah, with equal numbers, conks and then heavies. If they
Conks
spam
to Desi.
it with Sundays, which is the usual way they do it, then it's not as effective to deal with that.
Triple conk and a max cannot move. They're just anchored to the ground.
So I agree with all these things, and I agree that we did badly at it. But did it work for y'all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rarely for us, because we were down at Kestrel's with you, and we just got air hammered and spammed by Sunders. Which
Against
is what
solely maxes will win. Against the combination, we will not.
Yeah.
What changed the dynamic though is we could take the maxes, but as soon as the air rolled in and was shooting us in the back, that was kind of game over. But we did wipe their maxes. They did a grand job of defensively holding points with maxes. I haven't seen that in a Smash for some time.
There were a couple times we dropped into points, and I shit thee not, there were 6 maxes on the point, just
Same.
sitting
Yep.
there with a stalker infiltrator, waiting for their pickup.
And I
That's
guess
the-
this is
that's
the
one thing
point
I
that I'm
wanna mention.
making.
Well,
hang on, Kay. That's what I'm getting at. Is they did that bet. Did any of you guys do that in return?
No, because we
I
can't
did.
afford
Maybe
to when
once
we
at
are
Kestrel's, we had two
when we're
squad-
constantly
two
on the
maxes.
move and putting out fires.
Right.
We'd
totally.
pull 1 or 2 to counter them, Comet Max Fighter maxes or what have you, but like we can't do that kind of thing if we're to be blunt, if we're losing 50-50 fights elsewhere on the map, or losing fights we have majority pop at, even worse.
Yeah, what we had is we'd try and do it, but it'd be to a much smaller scale. So I would have, at one point, one of the things that got us very close to capping Wainwright was pulling about 3 or 4 battle buses with the squad, and then having a couple infantry guys lying around from the platoon. And we went up against about 6 to 8 of the Russian buses, and a couple of, I think, a few of their reavers that were running around, and some vehicle outfit that they had that's been pulling, like harassers and stuff. We were able
We
to
were
beat
lucky
them
on
out.
air though then.
And then their air rolls in, and that's what kills us. So it does work. It's just a pain in the ass to do, and it makes it harder for me. It took me longer to resecure the point, because most of my guys are obligated to be sitting in a Sunday. And they can shoot really well, that's fine, but I'd rather have somebody else that can operate a Sunday fine. Can't shoot really well, but it's not that hard to use a Fury battle bus.
I'm in my situation, in my lane again, only 24 guys. I didn't have the luxury of having that many maxes that much of the time, and I was trying to constantly break out of a 3-point base, which we did a lot. And the only way I did that was just to go old school, send an infill ahead of time, get in position, throw the beacon down that 10 seconds before, and then that's the only way we could get out of the base, because yes, we could push them out roughly with 2-to-1 odds, but then to then do a Sunday column up to the next base, you got to be kidding me. There's no way.
Well, I personally need
could
to
I-
work on some things. Let me just finish this thought. It really just has to do with Comet. An AV Max supported. I didn't see that in any of my outfits, including my own. And the conks and the AV nades, they worked to an extent, but not enough. Anywho, go ahead, Kai.
Can I mention one thing? I saw an extreme lack of like countermeasures against motion spotters because they had a motion spotter on point at every single base that we went to, but we had nothing, and we didn't do anything to try and take it out. Not until like 1 minute or even 30 seconds before the base completely capped, we would just throw EMPs in there. And this was at Eastern Substation, Kestrel Watch, and Fort Drexler. Like they had a motion spotter on every single point, and we didn't.
That's a kind of individual squad comp kind of thing to address.
Well, I'm gonna address it right now because I was with like 3 other platoons during that time.
So
the EMP costs more than the motion spotter, unfortunately. But the thing
Unfortunately,
that
but you got to kill it somehow.
I know, you have to kill it. The dilemma is though
Because
the way that
that's
they
how
set
their
it up.
maxes know you're coming. That's how their
Yeah.
maxes start mowing them down.
The way that they set it up is they've got the element of, well, the cheese element. They have stuff covering it. You have a Sunday right on top of the motion spotter. You have the maxes there that will kill you before you get to it. So the only way you can really get it is maybe a well-placed EMP, unless they have it in a good spot. So if you can do that, that's great. It's just a very tough thing to keep constantly down. So a lot of the focus generally tends to be keeping up your own recon. Because if we are in an infantry fight, we can win with our recon. However, when if both sides have recon, if we're up against the Sunday air max infantry fight versus infantry fight, it's not going to be happening. It's a big thing, at least. It's not a big ask, I understand, but I feel like the reason why people are slipping on that count is when you look at the amount of shit arrayed against you, the motion spotter isn't as big a concern as the Airhammer Reavers, the Rocket Pod Reaver, or the Max Suit or the Sunday that they've parked on the point. And whenever we try to do that, like I noticed at one point at one of the attacks on Power Reg, Goon had the right idea with pulling up a Sunday on the point, except that was the problem. They only pulled up one Sunday on the point. Whenever the Russians did it, they were brutally efficient in it. I walked over into construction site Epsilon and watched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 buses come in. Killed 2 of them. There were 5 on the point. There's a couple repair, mostly blockade. It's not something that's very easy to deal with as an infantry squad, and it buys them time to roll in with their air force, and then we get kicked off. And we don't do that in return. We don't do the Sunday spam, at least to anywhere near the same extent that they've practiced it. And we also, when we do pull Sundays, don't put them up on the points. Any numbers, really. We would have 1 or 2, but it's always the, that token thing. We do depend quite a bit on our infantry play, but we've found a server that has practice to counter it.
And basically, your only 2 ways of mitigating that is either fighting fire with fire or being constantly on the offensive and not letting them actually get set up on caps.
The only way you can counter that, we have 2 ways. We've always used the first one, which is stay on the offensive, back cap, do what you can, at least outmaneuver them. In this case, they locked that down, they paid attention, they dealt with it quick. The other end, at least, is, well, the fire response. And we have severely lacked in that department. So the reason why that I am hoping to get a mix of the scrims that will at least bring in that scrim element is that's where you get a lot of very good practice where you're not using cheese on live to farm the shit out of shitters because that's not particularly hard. You do it against actual opposition. And folks that are communicating well, where you take out the extra variables of uncertainty in life, but also the fact that a lot of the folks that you're dealing with aren't coordinated, don't have communication on large scale. They're not able to call for backup that actually arrives, that kind of thing. Whereas if you do it in a 24v24 or 48v48 format, whenever you kill somebody, they're communicating at least what's going on, and somebody else is listening and acts on it. You don't have that so much on live. So live is good for some of the general testing out stuff, basic stuff and all that, but it's not going to give you the same kind of experience as, say, a organized scrim would.
Well,
I
as I said,
can
we need
get
to do
people to
both.
commit to that?
We need to do both then.
That's the thing. Is everybody here on the same page about possibly committing to that? Like, can we commit to that?
Can we?
No problem with my outfit.
I mean, can we do like a rotational weekly thing so it doesn't require a whole lot of overhead setup?
The problem is that it's not the people in this channel who are the problem. It's the people in our outfits who are the issue, right?
Yeah.
Like, we can commit to all these changes, but unless we get the guys who are actually going to play motivated, then it's not going to change a damn thing. If we're going to be making a commitment here, we need to make a commitment to approach those guys who aren't playing anymore, but still want to show up every month to play Smash to get in the fucking game.
Well, then be a hard ass about it and just say, well, if you don't actually show up to this kind of thing, then too bad. We're giving your slot to SSGO.
We shouldn't even be giving your slot to. We're giving the slot to. It's not theirs.
Well, if you
You
can,
know.
try and advertise in a positive light, because the thing that has
User disconnected from your
seemed to like
channel.
bring people in tends to be the whole advertisement of like, in server Smash, you take out a lot of the frustrating variables on live because you know if they are cheesing you, they can't keep that up normally if you're winning. If they are...
There are a lot of outfits out there that would really love do lane Smash that just don't have to deal with that stuff on live.
Yeah, the problem that we've had with it though is Lane Smash has incompetent organization, and it has a lot of problems with the whole being a new com clash kind of deal, and a lot of the well, it really boils down to flat out organization shit from the PSP end of things.
I mean, let's
So-
be honest though. I mean, our guys were not fired up for it, regardless of who was running it.
Oh yeah, well, if we run it ourselves, just get the accounts for it, and we're not doing it as some kind of competition nonsense. We really don't give a shit who wins. It's
This is just a weekly.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's like a pickup.
It's yeah. Bring
Getting
your
further.
outfit. Organize people like sometime beforehand. I think they have sign-ups for it on Reddit like a couple of days beforehand. But if we were to put like sign-ups like who's gonna come this week, or like who wants to do this week, or if we want to go through like say the traf and be like who's been underperforming, you're definitely like, can you guys come this week? Like we need to work with you on some things. Like we need to work with you on this or this.
I think it's going to come down to more of individual outfits contacting each other about it. I feel like having planet-side battles being kind of like the what's the word I'm looking for?
Intermediate
bridge.
The broker of these fights. Probably not ideal, but
Yeah.
I guess you still run into the problem with someone has to manage the Jaeger accounts.
We do have the Lampjaw accounts.
We have the Pelican
Yeah, but that's not
Cyclists.
48. That's the problem.
Yeah,
I was
that's
thinking
not-
about it, but if we have more, then we can totally do that shit.
How many do we have?
I can
Who-
do
who
some
would
stuff
we
with
get
We have
the
about
PSP
30
end
as
of
far as I
things to
know.
try and
Question.
fix the problem.
Who would we get to stream it with an observer account that isn't a retard?
I can
How-
probably do that.
Fadola?
I can do it.
How,
Fadala too.
Pronam.
Yeah, pronoun. There you go. Pronoun,
Done.
Fadala. We
I
can,
think both me and Fadala have a permanent cam. So.
if we can
Okay.
get folks to organize it, like if we can get like the reps, for example, to like set this stuff up on the accounts part of it, I can definitely procure the accounts from PSP, no problem.
I
and I can
think we
take
just need
PSP
to
out
have
of
the
the
thing-
equation.
Significant
I've
date.
seen Briggs do for it as well, is up and coming platoon leaders, because this is like some of the other ones
Yep.
they've used. If there's someone on their roster who's slated in to be a platoon leader and they're unsure about them, what they'll do is they'll give them a platoon and they'll face up against another platoon and they'll stack that other platoon to the fucking ceiling and then they'll just fucking annihilate them until they learn. Like I've seen a couple of times where they'll kind of like let them have a win just to like give them some confidence as well. But like I've seen other times where they've like properly just like gone in and like just laid them out and just like given them like a good like, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to change. Like it's I found it, and those people who led those platoons after that did excellent jobs when they did lead in like live service matches, just from having that basic training experience beforehand. So if there's guys like who are prospective PLs who you've picked out from other smashes in the season, it's a good way to like teach them as well and give them extra practice that they may need.
I think, Morcam, you're probably right in the sense that it's kind of a pain in the ass to get people to really want to do it. I think the people that are going to be the initial folks are the outfits that are really motivated to do it. And then also encouragement, at least, from the folks here. Because it's a major thing.
I think if
Like-
outfits are really intermingled with each other, I think it could be possible. Being that I could probably do it with TW, and Vault could maybe do it with Goon one time, or Goku, or whatever. Like, I think
my
it's
outfit will be
possible.
up for doing it with anyone.
I mean, at the end of the
Well,
day, throw us
I'll
in with
play with you,
somebody random.
Kai, again.
Let's do it.
Like,
Yeah,
throw
we,
us,
we miss those days with DA.
like throw
So
Volt in
long
with
as
somebody
Reltor
random,
isn't
we'll work with
involved,
it.
I'll rock up to lane smash.
Hold on, Ronsta, what are you saying?
So, I got two things to say after Runsta makes his comment.
Just throw us in with somebody random. Like, mix it up a bit. Let's see if we can't figure out who works well with each other.
The other option would be to just identify some windows of time that we'll have an observer and we'll have some accounts and post it up and say what outfits can come make this, and then just go from there and try and eyeball the team comp so it's, you know, will be constructive for everybody involved.
Gator, want to say something, or should I move on to another topic real quick?
Yeah. So if we do make this happen, we gotta work it so that it's not long enough that people get burnt, and that if somebody is getting dumpstered for 30, 45 minutes straight,
you shuffle.
Yes, there's got to be something in place to get those people back. Because when we got dunkstered hard against RSNC, against Briggs, doing lane smasher, whatever it's called, like the morale was low. Right, so this is, if we go forward, this has got to be a let's help ourselves type thing. So maybe pause a second, get everybody together. Hey, this is what we're doing. It's working. Maybe let's rotate some people, and y'all try to do it. And the other thing is that Morkheim was hinting at a minute ago was there's got to be fire in people.
I'm gonna cut you off. Like, if people are gonna get disheartened and heartbroken because they got beat on for, you know, 15, 30, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever, there's nothing you can do in this universe that's going to give them fire.
Right. Well, I'm not referring to this match or any losing match, but on live,
User disconnected from
from my
your
own
channel.
experience, there is a big difference between logging in to a group of guys that are being very lackadaisical versus logging into a group of guys that are going hard.
I think
and
the
I've
setup
lost-
we're gonna make, it's gonna be fine now.
Yeah, no, I mean on live play. Like there still has. I know that we resolved that you can't do accordion stuff on live. You won't get a lot out of it aside from farming pubs. But something has to happen on live to make people want to go out there and be better than taking the easy route, which is I think what a lot of people do nowadays.
Wasn't someone doing the thing? I mentioned this months ago, but I don't remember if anyone ended up doing it. It's like Cobalt actually tries to teams up with one other outfit on live, and then goes to like an off continent, and then tries to team up against another outfit that's in another faction, and do it on live instead, and see what happens. Eventually, it'll get overpopped because if there's a fight somewhere, people show up. But at least you get the initial start where you can do of like an agreed, oh, let's fight each other on live on that moment.
It could be interesting. That stuff used to happen on a larger scale years ago, and it was fun and enjoyable.
Yeah, but you can kind of do it on a lower scale now because,
yeah. Well, I mean, it involved people being in the same area, like just when outfits would run 2 to 3 squads regularly during their ops, and you come across another whole outfit, it was just a face-off for a long time, and there was a lot of fun that came from that. And now when you have like 12 people to log in, you got 6 in one spot and 2 or 3 of the others, and everybody's kind of dorking around. There isn't as much fire to go, we're dunking this outfit, or we've got to stop this outfit from dunking us.
Speak for yourself on that one.
I think people already kind of do that, but not really organized. Like if someone, like if we see AC, we also like, oh, AC is here, come here. But it's not like the problem with that is if you do it on any normal continent, is that you usually get overpopped by another group. And sometimes it works out in your way in the sense that it stays kind of balanced and it still works out. But 9 out of 10 times you just have the classic, oh,
Dapelzer get there out of nowhere.
382nd with 4 galaxies drop. See, and it's
It ends the fight and it ruins everything.
Pretty much.
Well, what about if 382nd comes, and it's Volt and V in the area, but V's got 4 squads and Volt has 2. Does 382nd really make it as much an impact?
Volt 4 squads? What?
No, me. Our ops used to be full platoon, and then I would yank my best players to server smash and all that.
Well, it really depends on how you like. If you want to use this to find people that are gonna play for server smash, you can do larger numbers. But otherwise, you should just stick to the group you're talking about.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, yeah. 5 squads of 36 and AOD is gonna end a fight, right? Why aren't there 5 organized squads on the opposing side?
Well, there is, but it usually gets overpopped more than does that. We're talking about 48 pluses showing up, and then another 48 plus shows up. That's how life works now, on any active continent.
Am I right to go? Like it's 9 a.m. and I haven't been.
Feel free to leave.
Mike,
Go to bed,
we
Mike.
didn't know
Go to
you were
bed.
still here, Mike, or why you're still here.
Fucking emo.
Wow.
Okay.
No
Yeah.
regrets.
Emo just taking you hostage.
Fuck, I'm gonna die.
Mike's now my emotional accomplice. I'll just bully him into staying now by promising him KV at some indeterminate time in the future.
What?
I'll just be
I
like,
don't
no,
even
Mike,
know what you
stay
just
for another,
said.
stay for another 10 minutes, Mike. I'll get KV on. And then I'll wait for like half an hour and be like, no, Mike, I'm serious. Like 10 minutes. 10 minutes, you'll be here.
But he's here now. I can go.
Am I really here though?
I think Emo's from Miller and he's trying to actively destroy all leadership in this game.
As opposed
I
to you,
just
at least
recruit them
I'm
to my
picking the
outfit.
leadership and not the outfits.
Chris, why does he have to be familiar to do that?
Because he's from the UK and they're from Miller, clearly.
Oh, okay. Because I get accused
Heard
of
him
trying to
speak any
destroy us all
Russian,
the
so
time.
he checks out.
Before I go to bed, can we make sure that Hive is like fucking perma-banned from PSP,
Yes.
like wholesale period? They can't just leave TS like that, man.
Oh, did they bail?
They're not playing for
They
us
left.
again.
They left.
Did they
I-
bill
I'm
Air
gonna-
as well?
Yeah.
I said it.
Yeah,
I
they
said it
did.
once during one of our meetings. I'm gonna say it again. Hive just wanted accounts so they could bail the shit out and do their own thing during Smash, and I called it.
Yeah. They didn't. I was actually kind of pissed off that the other guys didn't tell me until 10 minutes before match end. But yeah, they bailed in the first 5 minutes and left TS and fucking never spoke to anyone. Completely
I called it.
disjointed the whole squad. Yeah, it was really bad.
What about Brick? Did they show up for their 6 slots?
Yep. And
Yeah, man, they
actually
showed
did
up.
come.
Yeah, Brick actually showed up.
They
Oh,
showed
okay.
up, man. We did split base pushes, fucking multiple base caps at once, man. You name it, they fucking did it, man. They like for 6 people, they pulled. They from what I got from Nerdsky, he said they were shit. He said they were absolute fucking horse piss compared to like what we do on Briggs. But even then, man, like after Shock bailed on them like half an hour beforehand, so they didn't even have a fucking squad lead, the poor cunts. So I can't blame them one bit, man. They pulled their weight as far as I'm concerned, dude.
Oh, I just heard they didn't show up, but I guess somebody could have been talking about Hive.
They rocked up, man, and they fought hard.
They showed
Credit
up,
to 'em.
but I think I don't know. When I'm seeing some of the folks that I know, they've been messaging me, and it's like I'm worried about if they'll participate again, unless we do
Yeah, I
something.
wouldn't want to play with Future Crew again, though. I wouldn't want to play with them again, put it like that. But they did well, as far as the match is concerned.
Go to bed.
Yeah, fuck.
Go to bed.
Fuck off.
Hey, no
So we're
cursing.
gonna kick you from this fucking TeamSpeak?
Fuck you! See ya.
User disconnected from your
He'll
channel.
be back.
Probably.
Anything greater numbers.
The last thing that I wanted to ask about, did we have any other squad leads in here who led 6-man squads?
I did. I led a 5-man squad.
Did you
like it.
guys feel mostly useless? Because
Oh,
I don't know.
freaking hell yes. We were
I,
absolutely useless.
Our 6-man squad did not feel like it was very effective.
I
mean,
said
it was to the point
I said
where
it before the first Emerald meeting. If you're gonna
Yeah,
give me a squad, I need 12 people under my command, and I'm gonna field 6 of them for D17 and the other 6 for another outfit. But at least give me a full squad so I can do something. For I don't know how long. I think it was since IMR first force commanded. We've been running 6-man outfit squads, and that just doesn't work. You can't get anything done. You're just too burnt out of resources.
And no, I'm not saying that we possibly could run 12-man squads.
No, but
I'm just
at
saying
least combined with like
I did
another
not
outfit
feel like
that's running
yeah,
6 people.
Right, that's kind of what I was getting at. If we're gonna do that in the future,
We
did 2 sixes
midway
in our
through the
platoon.
first half.
Yeah.
About midway through the first half, I ordered Runsta to put Haya and D17 into one squad, and that worked beautifully.
It
We were
did.
able to just hold points and just dominate.
Question.
Yeah.
Why
I
did
feel
you-
like a lot of the issue was the spawning. I mean, just spawning as one squad is so much easier than spawning as 2 separate 6-man squads. Because
to
you're never
answer
going to
you-
have the same amount of like Valkyrie, squad beacon, that kind of stuff that you do with just one squad.
Why did you ask for me to split them?
For 2 reasons. One, Haya and D17 were not in the same channel, so we couldn't communicate very well, and some people have in-game muted because they don't want to hear you. Secondly, also, I thought it'd be better if we split too, so that they could go to Bravada PMC, we go to Nascence, or even swap, so that we have 2 bases taken down on both sides of Ixtab. And that worked for a little bit until we just got wiped off of Nascence.
Yeah, there's not much.
Yeah,
we
I
can do
think I just kind of felt I felt that it was being split into 2 6-man squads was to the point of being useless. I mean, we were unable ultimately.
Yeah, so like the
to
way I
things that we
try to
needed to
use you
do.
guys, like you said, like I send you guys, you get to a base first, and I can bring everyone like along with it. But when we're defensively trying to do things, like you are pretty
That might
much
be fair.
useless.
That might be fair.
Yeah.
6-man squads are pretty good on the attack and useless on the defense.
Yeah, and like I said, when
can't
we
explain
pushed
that to
out,
any
right?
other.
It's like I could send you guys to Broken Vale. I would send defaults guys to a different base. All right, and then like okay, and I have 24 Iron and Goku, and we can do something. But yeah, things.
Did Igru end up showing up?
Yeah, they were there.
Okay.
They were sitting. They were
Then
all sitting
who
in
was
their
the
channel.
squad that like? Who was the squad that just didn't show up at that beginning? Because we were like 20 men down.
All my guys
I
were in my
think it was
platoon,
people
which
spread across multiple.
yeah, our whole
I
platoon
know
was there with
10
10
didn't
minutes
show
left.
up till like 20 minutes too.
Yeah, like they were wondering. I kept telling Rallick to pull my guys in because I wasn't able to make it until like 5 minutes before the match, and even then I was still fixing my mic.
Okay.
So, what about air?
We had a couple of problems going into it in that Wycliffe wasn't feeling well today, which meant that all of a sudden I was down what I felt was any good squad lead, because Stroff's got his squad and that's fine, Hader's got his squad, that's fine. And then usually I'll have someone like Experiment, or there'll be me, or there'll be Grenade Shark or Riker, but Experiment didn't have an account. No one expected him to show. I asked him on Steam, but he was out all day. Riker burnt out too heavily before. He comes and goes as he pleases. Grenade Shark had an account. He didn't turn up. Not impressed. But it essentially left me at a point where I had no squad leaders, or I had no experienced Server Smash Air squad leader. And so I asked EMT to do it because he's shown up to a lot of Server Smashes, and EMT thinks he did really poorly. I don't think
To
he
be
did
fair,
that badly, honestly.
our pilots think he did poorly as well. Was
For his first time, I don't think he did too badly. I just think that there were a whole combination of things going against us this time, and that was one of them. If I could have picked someone else, I would have done, but there's no one who runs organised air squads, and if they do, they're usually in Stroff squads. So I'm left with people who aren't who play in the air. They'll play in the air. They won't be terrible. They'll know how to fly, but they won't be air squad leaders. They won't necessarily understand a lot of the mechanics they need to. And then when you're fighting super laggy, warping airhammer reavers, it just compounds the problem and gets atrocious.
Can we super hammy so if we legitimately think the lag is an issue compounded by air hammers and scat maxes can resolve to play NC against Miller and Cobalt next time?
I wouldn't say we should ever give Miller air hammers.
Well, I mean, we don't really have a choice a lot of the time. If you want to pick Gate, then they pick NC.
Actually, on that note, can I make a point? Can I make a point?
That's
real
what I'm
quick?
getting
It
at.
seems like we're able to work with pretty much any gate we're given with. Of course, we kind of want to pick which gate we want to start out on, but if it means not giving lag wizard shotguns all the time, I think we should pick NC over gate, and then we can just work with the gate from there.
And we should play TR over VS. Because
Yes.
the
Do the
Carve is
pretend game, by the
infinitely
way.
better than the fucking Orion.
So if we win the flip, then we pick faction
NC,
and see,
yeah.
etc. Like, because they'll probably go for warp gate. We pretty sure know that. So basically, we cannot lose the flip then, and don't go for fucking VS. Just go NC. Maybe even TR. Like, yeah, because the Orion was just not that helpful in this case.
The Orion
surprisingly.
wasn't that great, especially at range.
No, you need more bullets, dude.
I mean,
After the LMG belt, it will get fixed,
okay, I'm an
but it's
NC
not in
shitter,
yet.
right? I'm used to friggin' Gauss Saw, EM6 kind of stuff. The Orion just did not punch as hard as I wanted it to.
The Orion for me was fine. The problem at least is when you're using that kind of weapon against a playstyle, it's great for killing infantry, except there's not really that much infantry to kill. So yeah.
Yeah, the Orion.
Yes.
I mean, if you just look at the stats, the Orion did pretty damn well.
Yeah, the strength
It
of
did.
VS comes in the fact that you can generally win your infantry engagements with people who are not particularly great. The strength of NC is you can win just about everything else.
Also, Cyclone everywhere. Cyclone heavies were just everywhere.
Yes, the Cyclone is the one thing that counters lag.
Red
Unless you're hit
October with
registration
Cyclone
shit.
Heavies.
The Cyclone heavies and Cyclone infiltrators was all I saw outside of Max's.
Can we campaign
A lot
to
of
have
the
the Cyclone
Russians-
finally nerfed?
A lot of the Russians ended up using the NS-15 because Jaeger's been having issues with hit registration, but I'm watching them pretty much go through and tank about 3 of my guys. And he finally dies, and it takes about the full mag from 3 Orions, so it's something.
So are all the maps voted in from now on?
No, not for the semis, but definitely for the final. Because
So when do we
Farah
know
is
those maps?
retarded. Exactly, I don't know, because neither do PSB.
Oh,
It,
okay,
it
that's
should
that
be
then.
just organized from the get-go. Like, you should have it planned out.
Well, it's kind of funny that every other thing was pre-organized, all the maps up until now.
Yeah, why is that?
Well, legally, I think they did it because they want to let people play on different maps, and because we don't know who we're fighting yet. This is the match of next week.
The whole complication of the 2 servers can't meet on a map they played on before already, like, it's so fucking pointless and adds an extra level of complication.
Well, that's PSV for
Wait,
you.
is that really the case?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Can't make this shit up.
That's bullshit.
On the plus side, it means if we get Briggs, we won't have to play on Ezimir.
I like Ezimir.
And
I'm kinda done with
we
Hassan, to
can't.
be
We don't
honest.
play Miller on Hassan anymore, do we?
We've played
Thank
4
God.
matches on Hassan at this point.
We should be able to get a veto in the final regardless, so we can veto Hassan.
Please.
I'm pretty sure we're not allowed to fight at it anyway because we fought
No,
already.
assuming that Connery doesn't beat Briggs or Briggs doesn't warp gate Connery, we're gonna play Briggs in the first round, and that means that Cobalt and Miller play, which means that we cannot play Hassan, right, in the final.
No.
I hope.
Isn't that how it works?
Chances
we
are
played
that we
both
can
those
play it.
Cobalt might actually put up a good fight for Miller. They did it before.
I want Cobalt to win and then Miller not be able to go up into the finals at all.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
I
That'd be
think
amazing.
Miller is gonna stack really hard from now on though, because they want to do a one flow.
Can you imagine the atrocity if Cobalt and Briggs got to the final?
No, that would be perfect.
That would be perfect.
And we would actually have a fun
I
match.
did actually
and shit.
watch that. I would love
But
to
the
see
drama
that
would
matchup.
be so good.
Wait, are we gonna lose against Cobalt or Briggs?
Fuck no.
Probably not. We've lost against both servers before, so
Possibly,
anything is
yes.
Well,
Well, the
yeah,
only
That's,
everybody
we
ever
said the
lost
same.
is at this
Hey,
point.
we said the same damn thing about Miller, and we just fucking lost it. So, because I got told over and over about how, oh, we'll be fine. No, don't do this, don't do that. We'll be fine. We'll be
No.
okay. And then we got
Okay,
fucked.
sorry, Pizza. We had a
Yeah.
secret meeting that we're gonna lose this match because we needed to learn our mistakes. I'm sorry, you've been excluded because you're now PSB admin.
You clearly missed the meeting memo.
Sure.
You didn't get the memo.
If you added me on Steam, I would have told you.
We do need to get the PR train rolling on that we totally threw this to false sense of security or something. I'll have
We made it
Walker
look
work
like we
on
had
it.
AC, TIW, L, and all the good outfits. But in
Dude,
secret, we brought in the shitty
Lemko was
outfits.
discrediting a bit, but AC did a fucking phenomenal job for what they can do and did. They pulled Sundays all the time. They got bloody Drexler all on their own, basically, with all the
Hey,
Sundays they pulled and shit.
AC are actually surprisingly good at battle buses.
Oh yeah, they've been
Doopy
doing it
Bus?
recently already.
It's
That's
because
literally why I
they
was so
just
happy
have
they were
been
covering.
farmed by battle buses on live so many times. They know how to deal with it.
They actually pulled air like, was it beyond halfway? I think it was.
Yeah.
I
And
think it was at the
really
halfway point.
effective. It was actually really
Well,
effective.
In the past, Hypersonic has told me that Air Canada were willing to help out, so I'm not surprised to hear that they pulled air.
Nope. We need air. We literally called, oh, Air Canada's up. And yes, it was kind of douchebaggy of me to drop the ball, but I was like some other people like Ronstad that flipped the lanes because he was bored. We got kind of bored of dealing with Ford Drexler. And that's when he left, and you can see that the last 15 minutes, all those bases flipped down below. But we helped Brit getting a base. Oh,
It's all worth it.
Right. Yeah. But are we serious about doing this? Aside from, of course, doing the standard, we're gonna play on live with each other, blah 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 blah. Are we gonna do the sort of lane smash thing? Because then I can. We just need
I'd
a
totally be
day.
up for it.
Somebody post something on Reddit and just let's get it rolling.
It will get rolling, but I need to know specifics because then I can get the account side and organizational side fixed up. It's gonna be easy, but I just need to know when you guys want to do it, what day, what time.
I would say every weekend, every Saturday afternoon or night.
Well, it's gonna be very tricky with that because there's a bunch of service meshes, and I know PSB and they will not allow anyone to do anything like that.
Okay, then how
outside
about
there's a service
Fridays?
mesh.
What about Fridays? Because like, it's primetime Emerald on Fridays anyways, and most of us don't want to deal with live. So why don't we all just organize for lane smash?
Maybe like an hour before pickups, in the sense that it will run beyond pickups because I can just drop that because Reltor has
Yeah.
like 20 outfit buddies. So, but the
Screw
benefit of
pickups.
that is that we
Pickups
have.
can go do with their own thing.
Yeah, no, I know, but that is not a problem. But what time again? Like, what is most convenient for people? Even though, yes, we should also ask that in the Reddit thread, but just for the people that are here right
I
now.
would imagine any time between 7 and 9 p.m. or 10 p.m.
Name your time, we'll be there.
And everybody agree with that?
Goku, V.
What's up? Goku kind
how
of
it-
needs a little later in the evening, so I mean, our ideal, and I wouldn't even really know how much interest our members are going to have, but we're talking probably more in like the 8 to 11 time frame.
What about you, Negator? Pretending he was here.
Oh, 8 o'clock's fine.
What
Actually-
about you? What about Cry, Himo?
Who's crying?
Cat, behave yourself.
I genuinely don't know what the question was.
It was a joke.
Fernand, we can put together a fucking lion squad.
We probably should start.
Yeah, I mean Fridays used to be our X-Up days, so a lot of tier
I
outfits
mean,
play on that
all,
time.
all I can guarantee on our end is like 4, maybe more. But
yeah, but we got the bonus that we can combine our outfits. So.
yeah, Lion it is.
I'm sure suit would come with us.
They will.
I know. I can get a lot of those end guys would want to come. So
they're like
true combined arm shitties.
That's kind of funny though, because they're kind of really Sunny heavy as well recently. Would be nice if we could get him back for service mesh in some way, shape, or form. But
They
was it
played
again
today,
Hemo
more or less.
experimented us this?
Like
in air
some
mostly?
of them flew, and then Mal played in Mike's squad, and Tilso and Snyder, who normally play with us, both said they couldn't go. So, like, they play the ones who want to. Just no one wants to deal with the fucking memes. Oh, I'm sure they could if you fucking press them to, but they have no one to lead it. Sounds like a job for more cam. More cam.
Morgan, if you're here, say yes.
Oh, hello, I'm back. I'm sorry, I was gone for a moment.
Yeah, no, we were just saying how you should make an outfit with the end guys, and that way you get a full squad in server smash.
And then 12.
And then 12. Oh, nice.
No nonsense 12. Yes.
No, I think maybe.
Oh my god.
Oh, Christ.
Well, they pulled out, so we can just steal the no nonsense thing, right?
Well, their outfit's dying because they can't play servers.
It's just sad that energy dropped so low after fucking the outfit died. It's kind of sad. They were quite a reputable outfit with pretty decent players, and after they died, they just didn't like DA died and like got all kinds of shit in.
They lingered like a dead corpse under the step.
Yeah, but they did like worse things. Like DA was, but DA is now pretty okay now again ish. As they're still dead-ish, but they're good dead.
NNG just attempted to kick other outfits from playing Server Smash in order to get their own slots.
I think they were honestly convinced that they were going to play in every single match from this point forward.
Well, we said so. But that we wanted to play in a Miller match. Yeah, there's like 50 other outfits that want to do that too. Yeah,
no, they
we
didn't.
said it.
That's the other thing. They didn't put that in writing. They didn't actually like send a DM to someone.
No, they did. Because I remember seeing it, and I remember thinking, yeah, sure, dude, make that statement.
I remember Galgimp or someone from Vault had linked during that meeting. They didn't specifically say Miller Smash. They said we'd set out for Briggs if it meant another Emerald server another Emerald outfit would play. But they didn't specifically say they wanted to play the Miller Smash.
I think there was another post where they did. It was just two disconnected pieces of information.
Yeah, I distinctly remember a Trashboard post where that I remember seeing them going, "Oh, we'll totally sit aside for this match so we can play in the Miller one." I just remember going, "Yeah," because everyone's not going to want to say that.
Yeah,
pretty much. Been dead since Jama went all crazy and left.
I know.
Whatever
I sat in the last lip with him.
Oh, well, actually, no, wait. First, Jama quit and went crazy. Then he came back to DA and was crazy in DA, and then he quit PlanetSide.
It was pretty passed out of last
crazy.
part.
What do you mean crazy?
Jama had like some kind of breaking away with NNG because of some other game. I can't remember what it was called. It was some Korean MMO thing. Arcade. Yep, that one.
Oh wow!
I know Jamal played
Oh,
Arcade, and
details.
he now seems to hang out on the DA TeamSpeak mostly.
Wasn't Cry going massively into that game?
A lot of people who went fucking headfirst into it.
No,
And it
Cry went
flopped
massive.
so hard.
Do you want me to try and see if I can procure accounts for the
Well, yeah, we're
reserve a
thinking
day or something?
Fridays. Yeah,
What are you trying to
somewhere
procure?
7
What
or
time?
8-ish.
Accounts.
Between 7 and 11.
Just order them from 7 to 11 and say that I'll run them.
All
for
Emerald
Burnley
available.
with pickups, because I know, like, I work with Realtor, and I can do that.
Leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
I keep thinking we need to just get Wobber to fucking talk to some of the guys and get some accounts for us that are completely separate from PSPs.
We can do that with Glamjaw. Like,
Yeah,
to
but
be
it's
very
not enough
honest, I'll
accounts.
let you into something. I was about to drop pickups completely and run an Emerald version with Glamjaw's version accounts. But yeah.
Who on SOE or DBG's end is actually kind of like the master owner of the accounts? Since
Raider X. Literally,
Oh, okay.
Raider X does everything. He does everything, like literally everything. He also does the scripts. He's a community manager. He does the scripting for swapping the passwords.
Yeah,
And he's
like,
getting increasingly bitter and full of hate, so good luck getting anything out of him.
I was like, yeah, that's why people don't get when they give him shit. He does a lot of.
He does everything, basically.
He is the developer.
He needs to stop talking to fucking Wisdom Cube.
That would
Yeah.
be a good first step, yes.
First step there is stop talking to him. Stop responding to him on Twitter.
We need to
Cube's just a
somehow
fucking
hack
ball
his
of
Twitter
hate.
and block Wisdom Cube from him. That will fix
A
it.
formal request for Raider X to ban Wisdom Cube from his Twitter.
So,
Alright, well, I'm gonna go up and talk to Rob really quick and see what I can do about procuring accounts. Let you know how it goes, because in that case, I'm probably gonna
Alright,
turn
are
over
we-
the management to you guys.
Are we
And,
essentially cleaning up here for tonight?
Well, we've
I
been
think
that
so.
way for 2
And
hours.
reconvene.
Your channel.
All right.
Reconvening tomorrow at 7 o'clock.
You can be dead again, Markham.
What? I can be dead again?
Yes.
Thank God.
You can crow crawl back into your
More
into
like
your coffin.
DD0. God.
Dead
Mean
12.
DD AJW.
DD6.
DD1.
Or
DD6.
DAJW. That's
DHW. By the way, Eagle. Help. It begins.
Fuck that, dude. Lion.
Actually, we had a bunch of people.
We have
joining
2
it.
people in help at the moment.
Dude, I saw that. I saw one of them on one of the bases. I was like, whose alt is this? It turns out it's just some fucking dude.
Have you ever considered merging with good outfits?
No,
I've considered merging into the oncoming lane.
No, because then
We
I
had
had
a
to
lot
leave
of
TR.
merge plans, but then we decided that wasn't really a smart idea.
Because everyone and their grandmother wants to fucking merge.
Dude, merging works great. What's wrong with you guys?
I mean,
Trust me, I'm
DD12
supremely
would have been
qualified
impressed.
to speak on this subject.
Where's X when you need him, dude? They can go crazy.
I'd just like to point out that I successfully merged with another outfit, and we lasted for quite a while before most players quit.
So 3 days?
No, it actually
No, we actually did.
4.
Technically, Cry merged with DA when we all joined DA to be there airing for back for
You fucking ringer shitters.
Ringer Smash, yeah.
With
Fucking ringers.
With that kind of standards for success, we can't lose.
Wasn't Prey
I
also
bet
ringing for fucking
Christian
DA in a fucking...
survived.
Alright,
There was so much air ganking.
I'm heading
Hamo, I
out.
don't remember. Hamo,
See y'all
who won
later.
that match?
Yep.
Yeah.
Which match?
The ringer.
Disconnect.